Chapter 2873. I heard Mingxi was in a car accident. I'm here to see him. Hu Yinyan was obviously not confident. I don't need you to see him. Get out. Mrs. Shun pointed at the entrance of the hospital and shooed Hu Yinyan away. I'm not here to get back together. You don't have to be afraid of me. Hu Yinyan sneered. Of course I know. You're mistaken. I'm not afraid of you. I'm just disgusted. Mrs. Shun had always disliked Hu Yinyan. It wasn't because she wasn't as rich as Wei Ying. Before the Hua family went bankrupt, and Hu Yinyan was still the young mistress of the Hua family, Mrs. Shun disliked her. First, Hu Zhenghai had a bad reputation among the rich. Second, Shen Jiani was an arrogant mistress, and was the public enemy of all the wives in the wealthy families. Third, Shen Jiani's son and daughter had bad morals, and a bad reputation since they were little. So Mrs. Shun had always been against it. But to her surprise, her son was willing to leave the Shen family for this woman. But in the end, he ended up like this. I know you disgust me, but I'm not here to see you. Hu Yinyan wasn't polite to Mrs. Shun. My son doesn't want to see you. You're not him. You can't make decisions for him. Hu Yinyan said in a tough tone. Don't waste your breath on me. I won't let you see Mingxi. You're such a heartless woman. Mingxi is kind and pure. He took pity on you and your mother, so he took care of you. I didn't expect you to bite the hand that feeds you and hurt him. If it weren't for you, nothing would have happened. Thank goodness my son is out of danger. Otherwise, do you think you'd still be standing here talking to me in one piece? Do you think I'll let you go? Mrs. Shun wanted to tear Hu Yinyan apart, but her years of upbringing in a wealthy family made her calm down and try not to say anything too extreme. I don't care. I want to see him with my own eyes. Then, Hu Yinyan walked into the hospital. She didn't know about the accident until a few hours later. It was one of her girlfriends who told her about it. At that time, she didn't believe it and thought it was a prank. Later, when she saw the urgent need for blood types on her WeChat moments and on the news, she realized that it was true. However, she could only be anxious because she did not have Rh-negative blood. Therefore, she left the child alone at home and drove in a hurry. She did not expect to meet Mrs. Shun here. Mrs. Shun saw that Hu Yinyan was stubborn and insisted on barging in. Very angry. Stop her. Mrs. Shun ordered the bodyguards. Two burly bodyguards immediately stood in front of Hu Yinyan. Get out of the way. Get lost. I already said that my son doesn't want to see you. Mrs. Shun gradually lost her patience. I won't listen to you. I'm nobody to you. You have no right to interfere with me. Hu Yinyan's attitude was firm. Mrs. Shun finally couldn't take it anymore. She walked over and slapped Hu Yinyan hard across the face. How dare you hit me? Hu Yinyan looked at Mrs. Shun angrily. I'm being polite by beating you up. You caused my son to be in such a pitiful state, so I should kill you to vent my anger. However, a lowly life like you isn't worth my time. Mingxi has been extremely kind to you. As far as I know, your house, car, money and luxuries were all given to you by Mingxi. He didn't take anything back after you broke up with him. So don't bother him anymore. If you still have any dignity left, please disappear immediately and never come back to disturb him again. Mrs. Shun warned her word by word. Chapter 2874. Hu Yinyan covered her burning cheek and wanted to fight back, but she knew it was useless. She couldn't fight Mrs. Shun. Besides, Mrs. Shun was an elder and she couldn't fight back. What are you looking at? Get out of here. Mrs. Shun glared at Hu Yinyan and scolded her. Hu Yinyan didn't want to admit defeat, but she didn't say anything. She walked away with her teeth clenched. You two, stay here at the door of the ward. As long as this woman comes, don't let her in no matter what. Mrs. Shun pointed at the two bodyguards behind her and ordered. Yes, madam. Relieved, Mrs. Shun got into the car and left the hospital. Hu Yinyan felt wronged after being slapped in the middle of the night when she came to visit Shen Mingxi. She had been with Shen Mingxi for a long time and had never been treated like this. How dare Mrs. Shun slap her? The more she thought about it, the angrier she felt. Humph. The more you don't let me contact him, the more I want to contact him. On the way back, Hu Yinyan parked her car and dialed Shen Mingxi's number on her cell phone. She called several times, but the line was busy. Did he block me? Hui Yinyan was puzzled. She dialed Shen Mingxi's number using the dialing software on her cell phone. Hello. It was a woman's voice, and she didn't sound young. Isn't this Shen Mingxi's cell phone? Young master is asleep, the Shen Mingxi's maid said. Go wake him up. I have something to talk to him about, Hui Yinyan said arrogantly. Who is this? The maid asked cleverly. Before leaving, Mrs. Shen went through Shen Mingxi's contact list and pulled Wei Ying out of the blacklist. She blocked Hui Yinyan's number, including WeChat and phone calls. I'm his friend. I have something important to talk to him about. Hui Yinyan was afraid that the maid wouldn't let Shen Mingxi answer the phone if she revealed her real identity, so she only said that she was his friend. Okay, wait a minute. The maid thought for a moment and agreed. Young master, your call. The maid gently woke Shen Mingxi, who had just fallen asleep. Who? His voice was still a little weak. I don't know. He said he's your friend and has something important to tell you, the maid said. Shen Mingxi took the phone and looked at the number. He was suspicious when he saw that it was a dialer. Hello? You actually blacklisted me? Hui Yinyan questioned and accused him forcefully. Judging from her voice, it was definitely Hui Yinyan. Although Shen Mingxi wasn't the one who blocked him, he didn't bother to explain. After all, their relationship wasn't the same as before. What can I do for you? Shen Mingxi asked coldly. I heard you were in a car accident. Yes. You got into trouble when you left my house, so it's because of me, right? Shen Mingxi remained silent. You still have me in your heart. You can't let go of me, right? Hui Yinyan was a little proud. Hui Yinyan, what on earth do you want? Shen Mingxi suppressed his anger. I'm here to laugh at you. I told you, you'll get your retribution. See how fast it comes. Shen Mingxi, you're a coward, so you didn't help your woman or my mom. You're happy that my mom died, but unfortunately, you got yourself into trouble. How interesting. So you're here to laugh at me. Shen Mingxi's heart sank when he heard Hui Yinyan's mocking words. Chapter 2875. Yeah. After we broke up, I was relieved to know that you weren't living a good life. How can you be so vicious? Shen Mingxi let out a long sigh. I'm evil. Don't you know? Oh right. I pretended to be gentle. You were so stupid that you only thought with your lower body. You only wanted to fuck me. How could you see my true intentions? Enough. Stop talking. Shen Mingxi felt like he was going to break down when he heard her voice. Once upon a time, he was so protective of this woman. For her, he was even willing to betray the whole world. Just like how Qin Chu did it for Huamin. It was a pity that he had lost so miserably. Because Huamin was worth Qin Chu doing anything for her. But Hui Yinyan wasn't. Suyu was right. He was too gullible and fell into this woman's trap. Of course. I'm not done yet. You're lucky to be fine after the car accident. I heard that Wei Ying gave you a blood transfusion? So what? What do you want to say? Shen Mingxi asked coldly. Congratulations. Your ex-wife is back. She's like a stray dog. As soon as you look back, she'll still be waiting for you. She doesn't care about your betrayal and hurt. Look, she's so perfect for you. I can't. If I were Wei Ying, I wouldn't be able to stand it. After all, you divorced her for me and slept with me for so long. But since Wei Ying doesn't mind, it's easy to talk about. Hui Yinyan, look at your face. You're a sharp and mean shrew, Shen Mingxi said patiently. It was the first time he said such harsh words to her. It was even worse than cursing. If a man who used to love you described you as a sharp and mean shrew one day, it would be better if he didn't love you. Regardless of whether you broke up or not, you must feel terrible. Yeah, I'm a shrew. Hui Yinyan purposely provoked him. If you only wanted to make fun of me and mock me, then you've done it. No, that's not enough. I just want to say that you, young Master Shen, have been wise all your life, but that's all there is to it. You've been played by me, a divorced woman with a child. You and your ex-wife added together can't even compare to me. Yes, you're the smartest person in the world, Hui Yinyan. Shen Mingxi sneered. Shen Mingxi, I hate you. Hui Yinyan's emotions were extremely unstable. Her voice trembled as she said this. But Shen Mingxi wasn't in the mood to listen. Hate, love, it has nothing to do with me. After saying this, Shen Mingxi hung up the phone. Hui Yingyan felt her heart turn cold when she heard the beeping sound from the phone. Then, she leaned over the steering wheel and burst into tears. Those words just now were not her true feelings. She still loved that man in her heart. But she also knew clearly that they couldn't go back to how they were before. Especially when she heard that Wei Ying had sacrificed her life to save Shen Mingxi's life. She was so jealous that she wanted to die and go crazy. So, she could only say those harsh words to provoke Shen Mingxi, hoping that it would lessen her guilt and make her feel bad. But only she knew in her heart that she didn't think that way. Those words weren't her true feelings. But what could she do? After hanging up the phone with Hui Yingyan, Shen Mingxi realized that his heart didn't hurt as much as before. After the car accident, he was much more clear-headed and didn't miss Hui Yingyan as much as he thought. He took out his phone and flipped through it casually. To his surprise, he saw Wei Ying's number flash by. Then, he flipped back and searched for it. He checked carefully and found that it was indeed Wei Ying's number. His mother must have pulled it out of the blacklist for him. Chapter 2876. Shen Mingxi hesitated for a long time. He wanted to call Wei Ying and thank her, but he couldn't bring himself to do it. This time, Wei Ying had risked her life to donate blood for him. If he said thank you over the phone, it would be too careless. In the end, Shen Mingxi didn't call Wei Ying. Instead, he posted on his WeChat moments. Disappointment accumulates day by day. Leaving is the longest decision. If only you could delete those feelings like you deleted those messages. Delete the person you like. The moment you delete her, you'll feel truly relieved. Then you'll feel endless heartache. I'm not giving up on you. I'm letting myself go. I'll pretend the wind never blew, you never came, and I never loved. Shen Mingxi wasn't an artistic youth, so he rarely posted such sentimental messages. Most of his WeChat moments were work-related. Unlike girls, boys didn't like to post beautiful clothes and food. Men had their own entertainment. Shen Mingxi had seen Wei Ying and Tian occasionally, and he loved them as if they were his own children. Unfortunately, now, soon after Shen Mingxi posted, dozens of comments flooded his WeChat moments. Tang Chuan commented, "Brother Shen, you're so talented." Shen Mingxi replied, "I'm just a little sentimental. I copied these sentimental sentences from the internet. I'm not that good at writing." Later, this WeChat moments was leaked by one of Hui Yingyan's bad friends. The woman showed Hui Yingyan a screenshot of her WeChat moments. Of course, Hui Yingyan felt uncomfortable after reading it. "Yingyan, are you guys really done for? Young Master Shen looks very sad." Hui Yingyan replied in a disdainful tone. "It's none of my business. Actually young Master Shen is a good guy. He's handsome and rich. Other than President Qin of GK and President Su of Imperial Star. He's my favorite. You don't know how lucky you are." "I don't think it's lucky. He's just a cowardly man. It's not a pity. There are plenty of men out there." Hui Yingyan said in a huff. "Yingyan, are you in a bad mood? Would you like to come out for a drink?" The woman asked. "Forget it. I'm worried about my daughter being alone at home. You guys go ahead." Hui Yingyan stubbed out the cigarette in his hand, started the car, and headed home. When she got home, Tian was already asleep. Hui Yingyan, on the other hand, wasn't sleepy at all. She stared at the screenshot of Shen Mingxi's WeChat moments that her girlfriend had sent her. Therefore, he took out his cigarettes again and smoked one after another. In the end, Hui Yingyan also took out her phone and wrote a post that only she and Shen Mingxi could see. But she knew that Shen Mingxi had blocked her, so she couldn't see it. She said, "How does it feel to be blacklisted by someone you like?" In fact, tear-jerking love letters were the chat logs between couples before they broke up. They went from saying everything to saying nothing to each other. How cruel was that? Once, every sweet talk turned into mockery. Every kiss and loving emoji turned into sarcasm. Even if I didn't want you to leave and knew that I was wrong, it was too late. I knew that I could only be with you for the rest of my life. The two of us could only stay like this. I love you. These 3 simple words would never leave my mouth again. After she finished typing, Hui Yingyan gently pressed send and realized that at that moment, her face was covered in tears. The truth was, she wasn't as calm as she appeared. Love was a double-edged sword. When Shen Mingxi's heart ached, She didn't feel good either. Mommy, why are you crying? Tian woke up at some point and quietly comforted her mother. Chapter 2877. I'm not crying. Mommy is hungry. In order to lie to the child, Hui Yinyan said casually, Mommy, wait for me. I have food. Then, the child got off the floor in her thin pajamas and ran out. She took out a bag of biscuits and a glass of water from the cabinet in the living room. Mommy, eat it. Where did you get it? The kindergarten teacher bought it for me. She knew that Mommy wasn't home often and was afraid that I would be hungry. Tian looked at Hui Yinyan innocently. She really didn't know anything. Tian, I'm sorry. Mommy is sorry. Hui Yinyan felt guilty and hugged her daughter. Mommy, don't cry. If you're hungry, I'll give you all of it. The child thought that her mother was crying because she was hungry. Mommy didn't take good care of you and didn't save your grandma. Mommy is useless. I can't do anything right. Who said that? Mommy isn't useless. Uncle Shen said. Mommy is the most gentle and kind person in the world. Tian said word by word. Hui Yinyan's body trembled slightly. Then, she straightened the woman's shoulders and asked, When did this happen? When did he tell you? A long time ago, before Uncle Shen was angry with Mommy. Uncle Shen said that Mommy's birthday was coming soon, and he wanted to discuss with me about preparing a surprise for you. He also secretly asked me what kind of cake you liked. The child's words carried no harm, but it was precisely because of this that it could easily hurt people's hearts. Hui Yinyan was a little dazed at that time. The kidnapping case hadn't happened yet. Hui Yinyan and Shen Mingxi were still discussing the wedding. Moreover, Hui Yinyan's birthday was coming soon. Shen Mingxi had discussed her birthday with the child behind her back. But now, to be honest, when she heard that Shen Mingxi had been in a car accident, she was almost scared to death. Fortunately, he was fine in the end. The two of them had lived together for so long, so their relationship must be very deep. Now that things had come to this point, neither of them had expected it to happen. Now that the child mentioned it, Hui Yinyan suddenly felt even more heartbroken. Her tears flowed even harder. Mommy, why are you still crying? Were the biscuits not tasty? Then in the future, I won't ask my teacher to buy this flavor for me. No, Mom. Mom is just sad. Hui Yinyan rested her head on her daughter's shoulder. Her eyes were blurry from crying. Mom, do you miss Uncle Shen? Yes. Hui Yinyan nodded. I miss Uncle Shen too. He treats Tian very well. I feel like Uncle Shen is like my own father. It was not easy for a child to say such words. Hui Yinyan fell silent again, leaving only her tear-streaked face. The next morning 6 o'clock Wei Ying came to the hospital in white sportswear, a black baseball cap, and a pair of sunglasses. He parked the fiery red Ferrari at the entrance of the hospital. He was carrying a thermos flask in his hand. Miss Wei. The two bodyguards greeted Wei Ying immediately. Is he awake? Not yet. It's said that young master doesn't sleep well, so he sleeps very late. He'll probably wake up in a while, right? Okay, then help me bring this in and give it to him. It's better if you take it in yourself. The bodyguards didn't dare to do it for her. I have something else to do. Take it in. Oh, right, don't tell him I took it. Tell him it was your wife. Then, Wei Ying handed the thermos flask over and ran away, afraid that someone would see it. When Shen Mingxi woke up, the maid came out of the thermos flask with a bowl of porridge. Young master, don't eat too much. This millet is very fragrant. Is my mom here? So early? Shen Mingxi asked curiously. Chapter 2878. Shen Mingxi was even more curious when he heard the maid's hesitation. It's not my mom? Young master, it's not from madam. Then who is it? It's a young lady. No, it's Miss Wei. The Shen family's maid was used to calling Wei Ying young madam, so she made a slip of the tongue. Wei Ying was here. Shen Mingxi was slightly surprised. Yeah. When? An hour ago. I didn't see her. The bodyguard brought the porridge in and asked me to heat it up for you. Shen Mingxi didn't say a word. He looked at the sticky millet porridge in the small bowl that was still steaming. It wasn't even 7:30 a.m. An hour ago? Didn't that mean it was just dawn? After all, Wei Ying was a total slacker who liked to sleep in and rarely got up so early. Young master, you should have some. The maid thought he still hated Wei Ying, so she tried to persuade him carefully. Mingxi didn't say anything. Young master, don't blame me for being nosy. Actually, young madam. No, Miss Wei isn't that annoying. She was just raised in a wealthy family since she was young. She's used to having everything taken care of for her. So it's normal for her to have a temper. But she's not a bad person. I can tell that Miss Wei has always been very good to you, young master. At that time, I remember when you first got married. Miss Wei even sneaked into the kitchen and asked what dishes you liked to eat and asked me to teach her. When did that happen? Mingxi was slightly surprised. In the first 2 months of your marriage, Mingxi recalled carefully. Indeed, at that time, Wei Ying was still happy as a newlywed. Every day, she bought him different gifts from phones, computers, tablets, and electronic products, to clothes, pants, belts, and even underwear. Now there were several bags of CK underwear that Wei Ying bought in the closet in the new house. But he had never worn it. Because once you didn't like someone and didn't pay attention to her, you would be indifferent to whatever she did. Now that he thought about it, he had mixed feelings. I think I was probably a bastard back then. Mingxi muttered to himself. Young master, if you don't like it, I'll throw it away. Madam will be here soon. She should have cooked porridge for you. Seeing that Mingxi didn't move his lips, the maid thought that he didn't like it. She picked it up and was about to throw it away when Mingxi stopped her. No, don't throw it away. I'll eat it. Then, Mingxi picked up the small spoon with trembling hands and drank the warm porridge. He had never imagined that one day, he would be able to calmly drink Wei Ying's porridge. Afraid of being scolded by her brother, Wei Ying went out to play with her best friends after delivering the kanji to Mingxi. Inside a coffee shop owned by one of my best friends, the women were having a small gathering. Wei Ying was wearing a white suit and a black baseball cap, revealing her delicate side profile. Ying, I don't get it. What's so good about Mingxi that you have to risk your life to save him? I didn't risk my life. It's just a rumor. Wei Ying laughed as she sipped her coffee. What rumor? Don't lie to me. My boyfriend told me. He was at the hospital that day and saw you. I really only donated a little blood. Wei Ying quibbled. Sis, 400 cubic centimeters almost killed you. How is that a little? Another best friend rolled her eyes. It's okay. It's a piece of cake. If you need, I can donate blood anytime. Haha. Wei Ying laughed heartily. Don't talk nonsense. Tell me the truth. Do you still love that bastard? A girl who hadn't spoken looked at Wei Ying seriously. Chapter 2879. Hey, what are you talking about? Then why are you so nervous? The girls surrounded Wei Ying and questioned her. I told you. After all, we grew up together, and I can't just stand by and watch something happen to him. I can't stand it either. Although I have a bad temper, I'm not that vicious, Wei Ying explained. You're guilty, right? Look at your red face. Nonsense. Nonsense. I'm not. I'm just feeling hot. Wei Ying placed her hands on her cheeks. Ying, I don't want to pour cold water on you, but I think you should stay away from Mingxi. A good horse doesn't go back to the same pasture. Besides, he dumped you. It's okay if you don't take revenge, but don't fall into the same trap twice. That's so stupid. One of her friends advised. Yeah, Ying, I heard that young Master Shen broke up with that shameless vixen recently. What if he uses you as a scapegoat? Forget it. Let's not talk about them. I just happened to save him. It's not as complicated as you think. Come on, let's drink coffee and discuss the shopping trip to Hong Kong in a few days. Wei Ying didn't want to talk about Mingxi, so she changed the topic. The girls knew what she meant, and didn't bring it up again. However, enemies often cross paths. Huiyingyan was shopping with a girl today, and was drinking coffee here when she was tired. She didn't know that Wei Ying's friend owned this place. So when Huiyingyan walked in, one of Wei Ying's friends immediately reminded her in a low voice. Ying, look over there. Wei Ying turned around and was slightly surprised to see Huiyingyan. Huiyingyan was wearing a black top and red bottom dress from a famous brand. It was said to be the same dress as a famous actress, and cost more than 100,000 yuan. Everyone knew that the only reason she could live such a good life now was because of Shen Mingxi's love for her. Nana, what did your friend say? Is there still hope for my mother? Hui Yanyan lowered her head and asked. Yanyan, to put it bluntly, your mother is already dead. Let's just forget about it. You can't do anything about it. Why bother looking for the public security department? I'm afraid they won't be able to find anything. Didn't they say that the driver was drunk and tired? I don't believe you. It must be Qin Chu or Suyu who did it. Huamin must also know that they are the murderers who killed my mother. Hui Yanyan insisted. Even if I knew, it wouldn't be easy to do anything now. I've already asked the people you asked, but no one dared to help. I'll add another 1,000,000, Hui Yanyan said. It's not about money. You know that they're afraid of offending Qin Chu and Suyu. In my opinion, you should just take the money young master Shun gave you and live a peaceful life with the kids. Or you can go abroad and start a new life. Why do you have to do this? As they chatted, one of Wei Ying's best friends walked over. Professional homewreckers are not welcome here. Get out of here. Hui Yanyan turned her head and saw the girl in front of her. Then, she looked at Wei Ying, who was not far away, and immediately understood what was going on. Oh, I was wondering who it was. So, it's the best friend of an abandoned woman from a rich family. You loser! How dare you chase me away? Hui Yanyan stood up arrogantly. Who are you calling a loser? You shameless homewrecker. The woman defended Wei Ying. What? Did I say something wrong? I heard that you didn't care about what happened last night, and shamelessly went to donate blood. You were so brave. What do you think? Didn't Shen Mingxi praise you for your hard work? Didn't he give you a compliment? Hui Yanyan looked at Wei Ying viciously and asked. Wei Ying's face fell when she heard this. Chapter 2880. Hui Yanyan, don't make others sound as disgusting as you. Wei Ying looked at Hui Yanyan with complex emotions. Hee, you make it sound like you're so noble. You're the same us. Woman, you're asking for a beating. Wei Ying's best friend couldn't stand it anymore, and raised her hand to hit Hui Yanyan. However, Wei Ying reached out and stopped her. Forget it. Let's not lower ourselves to her level. My mom said that if we meet an idiot one day, we shouldn't argue with her. Instead, we should agree with her point of view, praise her, and try to make her a super idiot. Hearing Wei Ying's words, her best friends couldn't help but laugh. Who are you calling an idiot? You're so sensitive. Don't blame me for saying that. Wei Ying chuckled. This is the quality of a socialite from a rich family. I'm speechless. Hui Yanyan sneered. Wrong. I'm only nice to people, not crazy dogs. Then, Wei Ying turned around and walked out, followed by her best friends. Hui Yanyan was so angry that her face alternated between green and white. It seems like the rumors aren't groundless. Hui Yanyan's girlfriend Nana said. What rumors? Hui Yanyan looked at her friend in confusion. I heard from my friends in the circle that Shen Mingxi and Wei Ying are going to make up. Who said that? Hui Yanyan's face darkened. Do you even need to say it? It's obvious that Shen Mingxi was touched by Wei Ying's blood donation after Shen Mingxi got into a car accident. Maybe the Shen family and the Wei family will make up. In their dreams. I won't let them succeed. If I'm not happy, they won't be happy either. Hui Yanyan said angrily. Inside the luxury car, Wei Ying sat in the driver's seat, and her best friend sat in the passenger seat. My goodness, your temper has changed a lot in the past 2 years. If this was before, you'd definitely slap that bitch Hui Yanyan to death and break her mouth, right? Yeah. If this was before, I might have. Wei Ying smiled and fastened her seatbelt. Then what's going on now? Now that you believe in Buddhism, you don't kill anymore? Her best friend teased her on purpose. No, I just don't think it's necessary. Why should a woman make things difficult for another woman? Actually, it's not easy for everyone. I don't believe the rumors that say that Hui Yanyan got together with Mingxi for money. I think that even if Hui Yanyan is a scumbag, she must have had feelings for Mingxi before. She must have had real feelings for him. Now that things have come to this, it's not what they wanted. Whoa, our young mistress has become kinder. It's not that I've become kinder. I just learned to think about things from a different angle. Before, I thought about myself, so I did things selfishly. I didn't even care about my parents. After the divorce, I settled down for a long time and slowly figured out many things. Mingxi isn't a playboy. As the son of a rich family, he doesn't have many scandals. In recent years, other than me, the only woman by his side is Hui Yanyan. So, I shouldn't have thought of him as such a bad person. Maybe if I hadn't pestered my dad and Uncle Shun and forced Mingxi to marry Hui Yanyan instead of me, he would have married Hui Yanyan instead of me. Wow, you're very open-minded now. Her best friend was surprised. In fact, after thinking about it this way, I feel much better. I let them go and I let myself go. Hui Yanyan has been through a lot recently. Her dad is gone, her brother died tragically, and now her mom is like this. With so many scandals, I think it's not easy for her. She asked for it. People like her don't deserve pity. Ying, I think you should take this opportunity to get back together with Mingxi. Her best friend suggested. Chapter 2881. Get back together? Hehe, that's a far-fetched idea. Mingxi hates my guts, and even blocked my phone number in WeChat. I think it's impossible for us to get back together. My brother is right. You can't force a melon to be sweet. Are you silly? It won't be sweet if you force it, but we just need to force it off. It doesn't matter if it's sweet or not. We'll be happy. Ha ha ha. That's a new way of putting it. It's fun. After the divorce, Wei Ying often traveled around the world with her friends. She even opened a creative home improvement design company, which made some environmentally friendly materials. She was a high-end designer and had a small reputation in the city. Wei Ying was a top student who had returned from abroad and had won design awards abroad. But she was too young and focused on love, which delayed her career. After the divorce, she opened up a lot. After letting go of all the old grudges, she began to do her own things. In the past few years, she had become more cheerful, and her temper had changed a lot. So when she met Hui Yanyan today and was disgusted by her, Wei Ying didn't take it seriously. She just casually said a few words, and then went to eat delicious food and swim with her best friends. Hui Yanyan, on the other hand, was so angry that she couldn't eat when she heard that Shen Mingxi and Wei Ying were getting back together. Today was a very important day. It was Hui Xiqian and Yan Ruoxi's wedding. Logically speaking, such a big wedding should be known by the whole city. It was like Song Yisher's wedding a few years ago, but it was very surprising. That day, none of the major media outlets mentioned it, and very few people talked about it on Weibo. However, someone posted about the wedding on WeChat. The decorations were simple, just like an ordinary wedding. There was no luxurious motorcade. There were no expensive wedding gowns. Even Yan Ruoxi's father, Mayor Yan, didn't attend. Only some famous people in the business circle were there. Qin Chu and Huomin walked in arm. It was rare that no media took photos. Huomin was a bit unaccustomed to it. Honey, why do I feel like this wedding is a bit weird? Huomin held Qin Chu's arm and said in a low voice. Yeah, it doesn't feel like a wedding. It feels like a funeral, Qin Chu said. Huh, don't make it sound so scary. I'm scared. Is the baby scared? Or is the baby scared? Qin Chu teased her. Yes, Bao and I are scared. Huomian subconsciously touched her belly. Don't worry, don't be afraid. Even if Hui Xiqian does something big, it won't work. My people are ready. In case Hui Xiqian tried to play tricks, Qin Chu had already arranged people inside and outside the wedding. Zhang Manlin had said that Hui Xiqian was going to tamper with the wedding, and that he had a shocking plan. Therefore, Qin Huoyanyamin, Hua. The wedding was to be prepared to be prepared. It was too low-key. With Hui Xiqian's wealth, he shouldn't be so low-key. Moreover, it was Mayor Yan's first time marrying his daughter. Not only was he not present, but there were also very few guests. This in itself was a strange existence. From afar, Huomin saw Yan Ruoxi in a white wedding gown holding hands with Hui Xiqian. She held champagne in her hand and was toasting to the guests. Mian, what are you looking at? Qin Chu saw something wrong with his wife's eyes. Yan Ruoxi's wedding gown. Huomin paused. Chapter 2882. What's wrong with Yan Ruoxi's wedding dress? Is there a problem? Qin Chu knew that Huomin had always been attentive, so he didn't let go of this small detail. That wedding dress looks familiar. You've seen it before? Which luxury brand custom made it? Chinshu asked. No, I just think it looks familiar. But I can't say where I've seen it before. I forgot. Let me think. Huomin didn't know if it was because she was pregnant again or something else. Her memory wasn't very clear, but she was sure that she had seen this wedding dress before. Because unlike ordinary wedding dresses, Yen Ruashi's wedding dress didn't drag on the floor or tail. It fell vertically at her feet like an evening gown. Then it was covered with a layer of white sand. The waist was tightened, and there was a bow on each side. In the middle of the bow, there was a black diamond. This design was the finishing touch, and it looked very high-end. The veil was also very special. It only covered half of the face. It was a semicircle, like the kind of hat that some female stars in Hollywood liked to wear in the 1990s. There was a classic photo of Audrey Hepburn. This was the style of the socialite. Huomin was very familiar with this wedding dress, but she couldn't remember where she had seen it before. Huasiqian kept smiling, and Yen Ruashi was also smiling, but, "Honey, look at Yen Ruashi," Huomin reminded Chinshu. "I saw it. Did you notice anything wrong? Yen Ruashi's smile is uglier than her crying," Chinshu calmly analyzed. Huomin nodded slightly. "Yes, I can see that she's not very happy. But it shouldn't be. Miss Yen has always been dead set on Huasiqian. She's different from Song Yisher. Huasiqian tricked Song Yisher into marrying him. But Yen Ruashi is different. The whole world knows that she's been infatuated with Huasiqian for years. Now that she's married, she should be happy. So there must be something wrong. There's a conspiracy," Chinshu said. Anyway, we have to be careful. Maybe Huasiqian will do something big tonight." Huomian also felt that tonight was destined to be an unusual night. Even the atmosphere at the wedding was so strange. "Hi, my little sister." Huasiqian's smile became gentle the moment he saw Huomin. Huomin didn't say anything. He just held Chinshu's hand tightly. "Congratulations, President Hua." Chinshu handed over a red packet and symbolically said a blessing. "Thank you, President Qin." Huasiqian took the red packet without hesitation. He didn't open it, and directly put it in Yen Ruashi's hand. Yen Ruashi was obviously a little scared. When she took the red packet, her hand was slightly trembling. Huomin didn't let go of this scene. "Miss Yen, are you not feeling well? You don't look well," Huomin said deliberately. "No, I'm not. But you don't look well. I'm a doctor. I can't be wrong. Why don't you go to the lounge and I'll examine you?" Huomin said deliberately. "No, it's okay. I'm fine," Yen Ruashi said evasively. "Little sister Mian, is this an occupational disease? Why do you have to examine my bride? If you have nothing better to do, why don't you let me take a look?" Huasiqian raised his eyebrows teasingly. Chinshu immediately stood in front of Huomin and blocked Huasiqian's view. He retorted, "President Hua just got married. It's his wedding night. If you're sick, you should see a doctor early. It's not good to delay the wedding night," Mr. Qin said sarcastically. Chapter 2883. When Huomin heard this, he almost laughed out loud. "President Qin, you don't have to worry about this. President Qin, you should take good care of my little sister Mian. Otherwise, if she goes missing one day, I'll be heartbroken." After speaking, Huasiqian looked at Huomin meaningfully. That gaze was filled with a blatant aggressiveness. Huomin carefully took 2 steps back and hid behind Mr. Qin. "No, when I was in kindergarten, the teacher reminded me to take good care of my valuables. Mian is so precious. Of course I have to take good care of her." Mr. Qin didn't say sweet nothings easily, but when he did, it was so heartwarming. Hearing this, Huomin's heart warmed. "Haha, you really do have a good mouth. No wonder my little sister Mian fell head over heels for you," Huasiqian said. "Wrong. Using my mouth is called coaxing. Using my heart is what dotes on her. Mian is such a smart woman. She can't be coaxed with just words. She knows better than I do how much I've sacrificed over the years. Okay, then I hope you'll take good care of her." "Haha." Huasiqian smiled meaningfully. Just then, a commotion came from the crowd. Chinshu and Huomin turned around and were stunned. "So you came. and he was wearing a black casual suit. He was very handsome, but his style was very strange. Most importantly, Lord Su was wearing a little white flower on his chest. This, President Hua, congratulations on your wedding. Suyu walked over with a smile. President Su, you don't look like you're here to congratulate us. You look like you're here to attend a funeral, Hua Xiqian said directly. Haha, I'm sorry. It's a coincidence. This morning, the grandfather of one of my friends passed away. His grandfather has always been very nice to me, so I had to come. But I was late for the whole morning. Then I remembered that today is President Hua's wedding, so I didn't even have time to change before coming. I'm really sorry. I hope you don't mind, right? Of course, President Su. You're never one to care about trifles. Why would I mind? That's good, that's good. Hey, it's even more awkward. When I came, I didn't even bring a gift, so I don't have anything to give you. If you don't mind, please accept this little flower. Then, he took the white chrysanthemum from his chest and handed over to Hua Xiqian. Suyu, what do you mean? Yin Ruashi couldn't hold it in anymore. Suyu was purposely trying to make trouble? How could he wear a black suit with a white flower on his wedding day? How inauspicious was that? If this person wasn't Suyu, he would have been thrown out by the security guards. I just explained. Suyu continued to smile arrogantly. You obviously did it on purpose. Yin Ruashi was angry. Ha! Forget it, Ruashi, President Su was just playing with us. Don't be angry. I really like President Su's gift. I think I'll definitely need it. Then, Hua Xiqian put the little white chrysanthemum in his hand and smelled it. One had to admit that Hua Xiqian was very mentally strong. In the past few years, he rarely got angry in front of the media or outsiders. He was always smiling, so many people called him a smiling tiger behind his back. This was because he often hid a knife behind his smile. People like him were the hardest to deal with. See, President Hua knows me. Don't worry, I'll owe you the gift. When you get married next time, I'll definitely come again, Suyu said as he patted Hua Xiqian's shoulder. Chapter 2884. Sure, thank you, President Su. Hua Xiqian was still smiling. No matter what Suyu said, or how hard he tried to embarrass him, he didn't get angry at all. Was it because he was afraid of Suyu? No, Hua Xiqian had never been afraid of Suyu because of the Su family's influence. He had always thought that Suyu wasn't his opponent, but Qin Chu was. It wasn't because Suyu wasn't as capable as Qin Chu, but because the person Hua Min loved was Qin Chu. Suyu realized that he couldn't anger Hua Xiqian no matter what he said, so he felt very bored. He turned around and started talking to Qin Chu and Hua Min. The banquet lasted until 9 o'clock. Qin Chu and Hua Min purposely stayed for a while longer, but they still didn't find anything strange. Qin Chu's subordinates didn't find anything either. It seemed to be much quieter than usual. Finally, the couple left the wedding venue. Suyu left half an hour before them. Honey, why is it so quiet today? Hua Min said in a low voice. A storm is coming. I'm afraid this is the calm before the storm, Qin Chu said. Hua Min nodded in agreement. Hua Xiqian has always been cunning. We shouldn't let our guard down. Don't be afraid. I'm here for you. Qin Chu tightly held Hua Min's hand, and the couple drove away. Hua Xiqian stood in his hotel suite and watched as Qin Chu and Hua Min drove away. A strange smile appeared on his face. It won't be long, it should be soon. He muttered to himself. Late at night, in the Hua family's mansion, Yin Ruashi did not even change out of her wedding dress. She was still wearing it as she sat on the wedding bed. However, the strange thing was that the bedsheets were not red. It did not look like a bridal chamber at all. Her face seemed to be filled with fear. At this moment, the door was pushed open. Yin Ruashi raised her head in horror and widened her eyes. Who are you? Ever since the last time she met Jack, Yin Ruashi had become extremely neurotic and sensitive. Don't be afraid, he didn't come out. Hua Xiqian walked in with a glass of red wine and said with a smile. Yin Ruashi looked at him defensively. Hua Xiqian approached her step by step. Then, he squatted down in front of her and gently stroked her wedding dress with one hand. It was as if he was looking at a rare treasure. Don't worry, I won't touch you, Hua Xiqian said. Yin Ruashi's eyes were still filled with fear. Because she didn't know what this man was going to do. Do you know why I insisted that you wear this wedding dress? Yen Ruashi shook her head, but she didn't speak. Do you know the meaning of this wedding dress? Hua Xiqian continued to ask. Yen Ruashi still shook her head. The day before the wedding, Hua Xiqian ordered someone to send the wedding dress over and told her to wear it. Although she didn't know what he was going to do, Yen Ruashi didn't dare to disobey. Right now Hua Xiqian scared her. She was so scared that she didn't dare to love him as madly as she used to. When I was still in high school, I participated in a design competition and designed it. It won the gold medal. This wedding dress was designed for Mian. It's white, pure, transparent, quiet, and comfortable. Did I design everything that made her look good in it? She'll look good in it, right? I've always thought that if one day she wears the wedding dress I designed for her and marries me, then I'll be the happiest man in the world. Hua Xiqian said as he gently stroked the wedding dress. If that's the case, why do you want me to wear it? Yen Ruashi didn't understand. Chapter 2885. Yen Ruashi was angry, sad, and most of all, wronged as the mayor's daughter and the apple of her eye. What man couldn't she have? Falling in love with such a perverted madman who had been obsessed with her sister since they were kids. Even on such a big wedding day, she had to be treated as a substitute. How sad was that? That's because the one you're wearing is a fake. The real one isn't here, so you won't have the chance to see it. Hua Xiqian smiled. Yen Ruashi was shocked, and her expression was extremely ugly. Only Mian deserves to wear that expensive wedding gown. Yes, your sister is the best in the world. Yen Ruashi said angrily. Hua Xiqian only smiled and didn't say anything. Yen Ruashi continued angrily. But no matter how good your sister is, she's not yours. She's Qin Chu's. Soon she'll be mine. Hua Xiqian smiled. It seems like your plan is almost complete. Are you afraid that if you fail, you'll die in Qin Chu's hands? When that happens, you'll lose everything you have now. The Hua Corporation, tens of billions in assets, successful entrepreneurs and President Hua. You'll be nothing. Once you're dead, you'll lose everything, Yen Ruashi advised. Compared to these things, I care more about Mian. If I can't have her, I'll have nothing. Hua Xiqian, you're crazy. You're a complete madman. For a woman, you've been thinking about her day and night, and you've done everything you can. For Mian, anything is worth it. Yen Ruashi was speechless. Hua Xiqian's obsession with Huamin was beyond her imagination. But I still want to thank you for putting on this show with me today. You must hate me now, right? After speaking, Hua Xiqian placed his hand on Yen Ruashi's head and gently rubbed it, as if he was coaxing a child. Yes, I hate you. I hate you. I was blind. Why did I fall in love with you? You ruined me. Yen Ruashi's face was full of tears as she spoke. Good girl. Don't cry. Everything will be over soon. Soon. I'll leave this place with my little sister. We'll never come back. No one will find us. We'll go to a place where only the two of us can stay. You. Yen Ruashi didn't expect Hua Xiqian's plan to be so crazy. So, it doesn't matter if you hate me or love me. Soon, you won't be able to see me again. Between us, the good and the bad, only memories will remain. He said, hearing Hua of Hua's eyes. No matter what, they had been together for years. When they first met, Hua of Hua's, Hua of Hua of didn't expect that so many things would happen in a few years. They couldn't go back to how they used to be. To be honest, Hua Xiqian never touched her. At one time, she thought Hua Xiqian was sick or gay. Later, she found out that Hua Xiqian was a normal man. He also had desires, but those desires were for Huamin. A few times, Yen Ruashi even saw Hua Xiqian masturbating with Huamin's photos. It was so perverted that she was speechless. She never understood what was so good about Huamin. Why was he so? But you know what? Even if you take Huamin away, she'll never fall in love with you. Yen Ruashi looked at Hua Xiqian sadly and said word by word. Chapter 2886. It doesn't matter. As long as Yuxing is mine, I don't care about anything else. Hua Xiqian didn't think he would be too greedy. As long as he could be with Huamin, he would be satisfied, even if she didn't love him. At South Hill Manor, Mommy, Daddy, you're back. MHM. Huimin nodded and patted Little Bean's head. Did you have fun today? Was the big bad guy's wedding interesting? Little Bean asked. No, it was boring. Huimin chuckled. But I saw handsome Sue go. He was wearing funeral clothes. He was so handsome. Little Bean was infatuated. At this moment, Pudding walked over and said, Do you think handsome Sue is the most handsome man in the world after defeating the big bad guy? Even your Gao Buyuan can't compare to him. Wrong. Handsome Sue is handsome, but he's not as handsome as Buyuan. After all, Buyuan is younger. Haha. Little Bean snickered. At this moment, Pudding took out her cell phone and said to the screen, Handsome Sue, did you hear that? I told you she's more interested in her boyfriend than her friends. Hurry up and take back the things you bought for her. Qin Mumu is such an ungrateful wretch. Fuck. Qin Zhaozhao, you're shameless. How dare you set me up? Then, Little Bean chased her sister all over the house. After the twins were born, the atmosphere in the house was much more tense, especially in the children's room. It was as if someone had bombed it. Qin Chu and Huimin shook their heads. They were used to this situation. Sitting on the sofa, Huimian suddenly thought of something. Honey, I just thought of it. Does that mean my 1-week vacation was wasted? I wanted to take them out for a vacation, but it doesn't seem appropriate now. MHM, you can't go anywhere right now. You can't leave my side. Starting tomorrow, you have to follow me to work and never leave my side, Qin Chu said. Haha, I don't think so. Huimin laughed, thinking it was too exaggerated. Of course, Qin Chu answered seriously. Huimin knew that Qin Chu was afraid of being separated from her, especially that time 4 years ago, when Hua Xiqian had been preparing for such a long time. It would not be a small trick. Therefore, in order to prevent any accidents, Qin Chu came up with this plan. Although it seemed a little absurd, it was indeed a foolproof method. Ahem. Does that mean I have to follow you to the bathroom? Huimin joked. Yes. To her surprise, Mr. Qin suddenly nodded seriously. His attitude made Huimin feel like breaking down. That feeling was like the calm before a great battle that could erupt at any moment. The first hospital VIP ward, Hui Yinyan, was wearing a nurse's uniform and a mask as she pushed the trolley into the hospital. Because it was late at night, the bodyguards did not check on her too closely. They let her in without knowing what was going on. After she entered, she walked up to Shen Mingxi. Looking at Shen Mingxi, who was sound asleep, for a moment, her heart softened, and she wanted to lower her head and kiss this man. This man used to be by her side every night. The man who described a beautiful future to her, at this moment, was sleeping soundly like a child. Shen Mingxi had not been sleeping well recently, and would wake up at the slightest sound. Therefore, when he heard footsteps, he was already awake. Hua Yinyan was carefully studying his face, and was startled when he suddenly opened his eyes. Why are you here? Shen Mingxi didn't seem surprised. Chapter 2887. What? Are you afraid of me? Hua Yinyan asked. Why should I be afraid of you? Shen Mingxi frowned slightly, not liking Hua Yinyan's sarcastic tone. Because you did something wrong. You let me down. Ha! Are you delusional? What did I do to let you down? Shen Mingxi sneered. Didn't you fool around with Wei Ying again? Do you think I don't know? Where did you hear those rumors? Shen Mingxi was angry because he hadn't seen Wei Ying or contacted her on WeChat or phone since he woke up. Don't think I don't know. Do you think you're the only ones in the circle who know? I have friends too. In fact, what you did is disgusting. You did it, but you don't want to admit it. I think you're pathetic. You can only go back and forth between me and Wei Ying for the rest of your life. Hee. Hua Yinyan couldn't hold back her sarcasm and mockery as soon as she opened her mouth. Her words were so sharp that she didn't even believe she said them. Fortunately, Shen Mingxi was used to her way of speaking, or he would have broken down. Are you done? If you're done, hurry up and leave. I really don't want to see you right now. Then who do you want to see? Wei Ying. Hua Yinyan, don't act like a lunatic, okay? Look at yourself. Don't you think you're terrifying? You forced me to become like this. My mom is dead and I have nothing. I can't save her after all I've done. I hate all of you, Qin Chu, Huimin, Su Yu and you, Shen Mingxi. So as long as I'm alive, you won't have a good life, unless you hire someone to kill me. You're a lunatic. Shen Mingxi felt Hui Yinyan's mental state was very abnormal. Yeah, I'm a lunatic. Young Master Shen, you're rich and powerful. Just kill me. Then my daughter and I can go with my mom and be done with it. Guards. Shen Mingxi finally couldn't take it anymore. Young Master, what's the matter? Take this woman out. I don't want to see her. In the end, Shen Mingxi forcefully asked them to leave. I'll leave on my own. But remember, as long as I'm alive, I won't let you have an easy time, especially you and Wei Ying. Don't even think about getting back together. Hui Yinyan turned around and left after saying those harsh words. Shen Mingxi was no longer sleepy. He leaned against the bed and scrolled through the news on his phone. Gossip, entertainment, people's lives, military education. In short, he was killing time in the long night. The next morning it was the same time every day when Wei Ying came to deliver the porridge. Miss Wei, you're so early again. Well, give the porridge to your young master. Remember to let him drink more. There are Chinese herbs in it. It will be good for his injuries. Wei Ying said carefully, but when she put the porridge in the bodyguard's hand and turned to leave, the bodyguard stopped her. A familiar voice came from behind. Ing. He said Wei Ying couldn't remember the last time Shen Mingxi called her so intimately. When they divorced, Shen Mingxi called her Wei Ying by her full name impatiently. So hearing such a familiar yet strange name made Wei Ying want to cry. Wei Ying paused and turned around slowly. She saw Shen Mingxi leaning against the door in his hospital gown. Hi. Long time no see. Wei Ying forced a smile, but her smile was stiff. Chapter 2888. Long time no see. Shen Mingxi was surprised to see Wei Ying again under such circumstances. You're a patient. How can you stand outside? Hurry up and go in. It's windy outside. Wei Ying urged Shen Mingxi. Come in and sit down. I have something to talk to you about. Before Wei Ying could reply, Shen Mingxi turned around and walked into the ward. She couldn't run away in the middle of the night, since she didn't do that. Embarrassed and surprised, Wei Ying braced herself and followed Shen Mingxi into the ward. Shen Mingxi's VIP ward was the best suite in the first hospital and cost 6,888 yuan per night. Ordinary people couldn't afford it. The room was as luxuriously decorated as a home. The kitchen and washroom were super comfortable. Wei Ying sat down on the sofa by the door, while Shen Mingxi returned to the bed. Do you want some congee? Wei Ying tried to find a topic. I'm not hungry. Oh, okay. You can eat when you're hungry. I made this at home, and didn't buy it from outside. I know the congee sold outside is made with chemicals, such as thickeners, to make it look good and taste good. I didn't dare to give it to you, so I bought the ingredients and made it at home. You made it yourself? Shen Mingxi looked up and asked. No. Ha. You know me. I'm really dumb. My auntie taught me how to make it step by step. It's simple, but sometimes I'm muddle-headed. Auntie helped me, so it's not really my doing. Don't overthink it. Wei Ying didn't want Shen Mingxi to think that she was clinging to him like glue and flattering herself. I didn't overthink it. Huh. That's good. How have you been in the past few years? Shen Mingxi asked. I've been pretty good. I've traveled all over the country. Last month, I went on a road trip to Tibet with my friends. It's a beautiful place. You should go there if you have the chance. It's the most primitive scenery with blue skies and white clouds, clear lakes and passionate Tibetans. Okay. Shen Mingxi nodded. Big brother Mingxi, how's your recovery? Not bad. Thank you for transfusing your blood to me. Don't take it to heart. Besides, my friend came with me that day. Both of us donated blood together. It's not my own contribution. If they were to just draw my blood, they wouldn't be able to save you even if they were to draw my blood. Haha. Wei Ying forced a smile, trying to relax herself so that Shen Mingxi wouldn't feel so guilty. But how could a smart person like Shen Mingxi not see through her little scheme? Xiaoying, I've troubled you this time. Your family must have scolded you to death, right? She remembered that day. Her mother had said that Wei Liao had come, and his attitude was very unfriendly. Shen Mingxi knew it must have been hard for Wei Ying to come home. It's not that serious. Everyone in my family loves me. It's not like you don't know my brother. Although his mouth is foul, his heart is kind. Even if he doesn't want to, he can't do anything about it. Yeah, I understand how they feel. Shen Mingxi nodded. Big brother Mingxi, don't think too much or feel pressured. We've known each other since we were kids. Even though we're not husband and wife now, we're still friends. It's my duty to save you. If it were any other friend, I'd do the same. So don't feel bad about it, Wei Ying explained hurriedly. Chapter 2889. She really didn't want Shen Mingxi to like her, because of her blood transfusion. When she saved him, she didn't think so much. In other words, if she had been so calculative, she wouldn't have lost to Hui Yanyan so easily. I know what you want to say. Anyway, thank you for coming back to help me, after what I did to you in the past. Sigh. Hey, let's not talk about the past anymore. What's the saying again? It takes two hands to clap. It wasn't all your fault at that time. I also have a temper of a rich young lady, and I'm very domineering. If it were anyone else, they wouldn't be able to stand me. So I really have to change. I've restrained myself a lot in the past few years. When I get married in the future, I can't be like this. Wei Ying smiled as she spoke. Shen Mingxi suddenly found that Wei Ying had a lot of smiles on her face. And these smiles came from the bottom of his heart, the most genuine smiles. Plus, Wei Ying was pretty, so when she smiled, she looked radiant and attractive. When I recover, I'll go and thank you, Shen Mingxi said in all seriousness. Don't. Please don't. My dad will kick you out. Haha. I'll thank you even if you kick me out. That's a separate matter. You saved my life. It's nothing. It's really nothing. Maybe there aren't many people with this blood type. Otherwise, if the media reported it, many enthusiastic citizens would do the same. Big brother Mingxi, don't worry about it. Hui Yanyan and I have broken up. For some reason, Shen Mingxi suddenly told Wei Ying this. Wei Ying froze for a second and then nodded. Yeah, I heard a little about it. It's because of her mother. It's a pity. She doesn't seem to have any relatives left. Ying, don't you hate her? To be honest, I used to hate her so much that I wanted to strangle her to death. But now I don't. I just feel that we're all women. And no matter what happens between us, what's going to happen will happen. It's useless to hate her. Besides, living with hatred is tiring. It seems you've grown up a lot. Shen Mingxi looked at Wei Ying with a strange look. So can I take that as a compliment? Wei Ying smiled brightly. Yes, I'm praising you. That's good. As long as you're not slandering me. Wei Ying smiled. Just then, Shen Mingxi's stomach rumbled. This immediately made the atmosphere a little awkward. Well, you should eat the porridge first. It'll get cold soon. Wei Ying stood up, opened the bowl of congee she had brought, and placed it in front of him. Unfortunately, Shen Mingxi had a retention needle in his right hand, so it wasn't very convenient. His left hand was clumsy, making Wei Ying anxious. How about I help you? Then, Wei Ying stood up and walked over. She half squatted on the ground with the bowl of porridge in her hands. Then, she carefully took a small sip and blew on it before bringing it to Shen Mingxi's mouth. Shen Mingxi looked down at Wei Ying condescendingly. She was a completely different person from before. I just blew on it. I'm sure I didn't get any saliva in it. You won't think I'm dirty, right? Wei Ying asked self-deprecatingly. Ying, you said you don't hate Hui Yanyan anymore. Then do you hate me? Shen Mingxi looked into Wei Ying's eyes and asked slowly. Chapter 2890. If I told you I never hated you, would you believe me? Wei Ying's voice was as soft as a mosquito, but Shen Mingxi heard her clearly. For some reason, if it were the old Wei Ying, Shen Mingxi wouldn't feel anything. He would even feel disgusted. But when he heard Wei Ying's words, he felt a little happy. He didn't know why. Maybe after the change, it was hard to hate Wei Ying. Before Shen Mingxi could speak, Wei Ying interrupted him. Wei Ying immediately changed the subject and brought the porridge to Shen Mingxi's mouth. Eat the porridge or it'll get cold. Okay. Shen Mingxi nodded and ate the porridge carefully. Wei Ying patiently fed him mouthful by mouthful. Is it good? Yeah. If you don't like the taste, tell me what kind of rice you like. I'll cook it for you. No. It's too much trouble. You don't have to do this. I feel guilty that you gave me your blood. It's okay. Huh. It's not a big deal. But I can only cook it for you for 3 more days. If you want to eat it, there won't be any left. Why? Shen Mingxi was slightly surprised. Because I'm going on a trip. This time, I signed up for a wilderness survival tour with my friends and wanted to train myself. My dozen or so members pooled their money and hired a foreign wilderness survival expert. I don't know if you've seen a variety show called Adventures with Bear Grylls. We're not filming the show. We're just doing it for fun. We found a steep mountain range and want to return to our original life. It'll be fun. No, it's dangerous. Shen Mingxi immediately stopped her. It won't be. It's not a primitive jungle. There won't be any poisonous snakes or beasts. I'm just thinking about it. No smog, no car exhaust, and returning to a primitive life. Isn't it advocated to return to the basics nowadays? Besides, there are more than 10 of us, and there are also experienced experts. There won't be a problem. I don't think it's safe. It won't be. If it's too dangerous, we can call for help. I have a friend who can live stream the whole city on her cell phone. We also have mobile Wi-Fi. It's really cool. Seeing that Wei Ying was determined to go, Shen Mingxi didn't say more. Then you should contact your family at all times. Don't take risks and take care of yourself. Yes, I will. Don't worry. By the way, Mingxi, when will you be discharged? The doctor said it would take at least a week. I'll be leaving in 3 days. I'll get my aunt to send it to you last night for the remaining 4 days. How about that? There's no need to go through so much trouble. My mom will arrange it. That's good too. Auntie's cooking has always been great. As soon as she finished speaking, Mrs. Shen pushed the door open and entered. Who's praising me so early in the morning? Auntie, you're here. Wei Ying stood up immediately. Fortunately, he had already finished feeding her. Otherwise, if he saw this scene, he would definitely be so embarrassed that his cancer would act up. Xiaoying, you're so early. Yeah, I woke up early recently and couldn't sleep, so I came to visit Brother Mingxi. I heard from the bodyguard that you deliver porridge to Mingxi every day. Thank you for your hard work, Mrs. Shen said in a pleasant tone. It's nothing. Don't be so polite, Auntie. Wei Ying was a bit embarrassed and her cheeks blushed. If you hadn't divorced back then, your child would probably be walking now. I really regret. I shouldn't have agreed to your divorce. Hearing Mrs. Shen's words, Shen Mingxi and Wei Ying both felt awkward. Chapter 2891. Mom, don't mention it now, Shen Mingxi reminded his mother. As an elder, I want to say that it's not easy to get together, especially for couples. So why don't you two? Before Mrs. Shen could finish, Wei Ying immediately said, Auntie, I just remembered that I'm meeting someone for morning tea. I'll come see Mingxi later. Take good care of him. Okay. Mrs. Shen looked puzzled as she watched Wei Ying leave in a hurry. But when Wei Ying ran away, she immediately blamed her son. Mingxi, you and Ying. Mom, I'm sleepy. I'm going to bed. Shen Mingxi lay down on the bed and covered his face with his hand. You're really? At the entrance of the Municipal Public Security Bureau, Gao Ran had just returned from a patrol with his subordinates in his police car. Gao Ran loved being a police officer and had a sense of mission. Even though he was the director of the Municipal Public Security Bureau, he still went out on patrol with his subordinates. It was to ensure the safety of Sea City. The moment the car stopped at the entrance of the Municipal Public Security Bureau, a group of people walked up and surrounded Gao Ran. Hello, Director Gao. I heard there's more to the death of the suspect, Shen Jiani. Is that true? Director Gao, according to the victim's daughter, this wasn't an ordinary traffic accident. Someone deliberately killed her. And the Municipal Public Security Bureau covered it up because of your special relationship. You even detained the suspect's body and didn't let her family see it. Is that true? Gao Ran's face darkened. Director Gao. Someone on the forum pointed out that Mr. Qin of GK is the mastermind behind this accident. As Mr. Qin's best friend, are you also involved? Director Gao. Hui Yingyan wants to sue the Municipal Public Security Bureau for overturning her mother's case. What do you think? As the son of a government official, your father has always been impartial. Are you the same? Gao Ran was tired after his patrol and planned to go home after taking a shower and changing his clothes. But to his surprise, he was asked some strange questions by a group of reporters. Wait, what do you mean by looking for me? I don't know why you're here. Gao Ran felt a headache coming on. Director Gao, since you're pretending to be confused, I'll speak for you. Not far away, a woman walked out from the back of the crowd. Who else could it be but Hui Yanyan? She was wearing a long red dress and heavy makeup. She looked extremely seductive. She walked up to Gao Ran and said with a smile, "Here's what happened. Because of the kidnapping case, Qin Chu hates my mother and is worried that the law will give him a light sentence. After all, my mother was an accomplice to the crime, and the main culprit is already dead. Therefore, the rich and powerful President Qin hired someone to deliberately run down my mother with a car and kill her. The police were afraid that I would find any clues, so they took the body away and performed an autopsy without my permission. They kept her in the Municipal Public Security Bureau, so I can't help but suspect that there's some kind of secret between you and Qin Chu. They must have done something to my mother's case. As an ordinary citizen, I have no way to redress my grievances, so today, I can only rely on the power of the media. I want everyone to see what kind of people we taxpayers are supporting. They are public servants, but they don't work for the people and collude with government officials and businessmen. Director Gao, since you've helped Qin Chu so much, he should at least give you a Ferrari this time, right?" After hearing this, Gao Ran's face turned green with anger. Chapter 2892. Hui Yanyan, what nonsense are you talking about? Gao Ran didn't expect Hui Yanyan to slander him. You know best whether I'm talking nonsense or not, Chief Gao. You can't do whatever you want just because you're the chief. How am I doing whatever I want? People have to be responsible for their own words. You're slandering me, don't you know that? You're insulting the police. Gao Ran was furious later. He brought Xinjiani's body to the Municipal Public Security Bureau to investigate the cause of death. He didn't want Hui Yanyan to see it. Not only did she want to see it, but she also wanted to take it away and cause trouble at South Side. He was already being nice by not detaining her. Now this woman was trying to turn the tables on him. Gao Ran was about to go crazy. Chief Gao, tell us what's going on. Some media outlets who were following the trend immediately came up. What's there to say? What's there to say? This woman isn't telling the truth. After Gao Ran finished speaking, he turned around and left angrily. His subordinates behind him surrounded those people. That night, when Gao Ran came home, he talked about it with Zhu Lingling during dinner. Gao Buiyuan heard it and told Little Bean about it during the video call. The conversation between the two kids was hilarious and dramatic. Gao Buiyuan, Little Bean, something big happened. Little Bean, what happened? Tell me. Gao Buiyuan, my dad was wrong today. He was blocked by reporters at the door. Little Bean, what? Did your dad cheat on you? Gao Buiyuan, what are you thinking? Why would my dad cheat on you? My mom is so fierce. If my dad cheated on her, she would kill him. Little Bean, ha ha ha, you're right. Gao Buiyuan, don't laugh. I'm talking business. Little Bean, okay, go ahead. Gao Buiyuan, I think this time, my dad was implicated by your dad. Little Bean, damn, why are you dragging my daddy into this? My daddy won't take the blame. Gao Buiyuan, no, listen to me. This time, it's that crazy woman. She killed my mother and claimed that my father and your father worked together to kill her. After all, Gao Buiyuan was still young, and his logical thinking was not as strong as the twins. He only vaguely knew the ins and outs of the whole thing. Little Bean, you mean Hui Yanyan? Gao Buiyuan, yes, that's her. She hired the media to frame my dad. She's a bad woman. When my dad came home at night, he kept talking about it with my mom. Little Bean, that's true. My daddy was afraid that she would harass my mommy, so he gave my mommy a day off. Gao Buiyuan, see? Even a powerful woman like Auntie Huimin is afraid of her. What about my dad? Little Bean, you're wrong. My mommy isn't afraid of her. She's just an unreasonable person. I don't know what she'll do. My mommy is pregnant with her second child. My daddy is worried that she'll be hurt. What do you know? Little Bean didn't forget to roll her eyes at Gao Buyuan. Gao Buyuan. What I mean is, this time, it's your daddy who caused this. My dad was implicated. Little Bean. They're buddies. They'll go through thick and thin together. Gao Buyuan. No, that was in the past. It's not like this now. I think I should ask for some compensation. Little Bean. Damn it. Gao Buyuan, do you want to die? You're asking for compensation? Little Bean's attitude changed. She wanted to rush over and punch Gao Buyuan. Little Bean watched on the side with great interest. Their conversation today was like a Hollywood blockbuster. Gao Buyuan, hee. Since Uncle Chin hurt my dad, I've decided. What do you want? Let me hear it. Little Bean pretended to be calm. Then she thought of a line to scold Gao Buyuan. Chapter 2893. Gao Buyuan. I think you can compensate me by going to the amusement park with me this week, okay? Little Bean. Little Bean. That's all. Gao Buyuan. Can you treat me to an ice cream? I want the one your auntie made. Your auntie is really good at making desserts. Little Bean. Anything else? Gao Buyuan. Of course. If it's possible, can you accompany me for the whole day this weekend? It's rare that I don't have to learn taekwondo, piano, calligraphy or literature. I don't have to greet Grandpa and Grandma either. They went back to their hometown to visit their relatives. I'm free all day this week. Little Bean. So you only want me to accompany you for one day? Gao Buyuan. Yes. Little Bean. Gao Buyuan, look at what you've done. Little Bean glanced at him in disdain. Gao Buyuan. At this moment, Pudding walked over and glanced at Gao Buyuan on the other side of the phone. Boring. I thought you would blackmail Little Bean for a lot of money, Pudding said. Gao Buyuan. I don't dare. Little Bean will beat me into a pulp. Little Bean giggled. Gao Buyuan, you know me well. Don't mention money to me. It hurts our relationship. Gao Buyuan. But every time you come to my house, you take away the toys I spent a lot of money on. You're so rich. Why don't you buy them yourself? Little Bean. Didn't I tell you? These are betrothal gifts. From now on, you have to give me some toys every year until I'm 25. Then I'll marry you. Gao Buyuan. Pudding. Buyuan, I suggest you find someone else. You're wasting a lot of money. The money you spent on toys is enough to buy dozens of wives from Vietnam. Why do you want her? Little Bean. Go away. Qin Zhaozhao, don't mess with me. Gao Buyuan. Don't fight. Listen to me. Have you decided on the date this weekend? Little Bean. Sure. I'll ask my driver to take me there. Gao Buyuan. Really? Great. Little Bean. Sis, you don't have to go. You'll be a third wheel. Pudding. Don't worry. I won't go even if you invite me. Amusement parks are only for 3-year-olds. Little Bean. I'm a 3-year-old. Pudding. No. You're 3.5. Little Bean. Gao Buyuan was speechless. Little Bean. Buyuan, I have a condition. Gao Buyuan. What conditions? Little Bean. That Peter Pan suit of yours. Gao Buyuan. No. Little Bean. You're not loyal enough. Gao Buyuan. It's a limited edition. My grandpa got someone to buy it from a faraway place. I only have one set. Little Bean. Buyuan, you don't love me. Gao Buyuan was speechless. Little Bean. So you're this kind of person. You don't even want to give up your toys. You won't treat me well in the future. I'll go play with Lele, the guy I met at dinner last time. Gao Buyuan. No, don't go. Little Bean. Why not? You don't really love me. You don't even want to give me Batman. Gao Buyuan. It's not that I can't bear to part with her. It's just, Little Bean. I just can't bear to. Gao Buyuan. Why don't we split it? I have 10. I'll give you 5 and keep 5 for myself. Let's play together. Little Bean. No, my daddy always gives in to my mommy at home. She's the true love. If you really care about me, how about this? I'll have 8 and you'll have 2. Gao Buyuan. Little Bean. What do you think? Gao Buyuan. Little Bean. 2 isn't enough. Little Bean. Bye. Gao Buyuan. No, no, no. Let's talk about it. Pudding was not far away from them with her cell phone, secretly recording their conversation. She secretly asked Suyu, "Handsome Su, did you see Miss Chin Mumu's real face? She's a capitalist." Ha. Chapter 2894. The daughter of a capitalist is, of course, a little capitalist, Suyu said with a smile. To his surprise, Pudding's face fell. Handsome Su, what about you and SEI? I'm not talking about you. Haha. Why aren't you talking about me? I'm also the daughter of a capitalist, Pudding said proudly. Look, you're being picky again. I'm talking about Little Bean. Awesome. Do you dare to say it again in front of her? Pudding was serious. Wouldn't that be suicide? Suyu didn't dare to say it in front of Pudding. In Suyu's heart, the twins were like little ancestors. Don't joke around. I haven't lived long enough yet. Suyu chuckled. What's the situation over there? What? Pudding was confused. Little Bean or Gao Buyuan? Who won? Suyu asked in annoyance. Do you even need to ask? With Chin Mumu's scheming personality, she'll eat Gao Buyuan without spitting out his bones. Don't call her Little Bean from now on. Call her White Bone Demon, Suyu said. Who? Handsome Su, who are you talking about? Little Bean appeared beside Pudding out of nowhere. Scared, Suyu immediately explained. Oh, I mean Little Bean, you're so pretty. Even the White Bone Demon can't compare to you. If you want to talk like this, everyone will be happy. Little Bean smiled in satisfaction. Gao Buyuan won the invasion? Suyu asked. Yeah. Little Bean was full of superiority. But I heard that it was Gao Buyuan who blackmailed you first. Your daddy implicated his daddy. How come you blackmailed him instead? Hee. It just means that he's too young. Little Bean smiled slyly. All businessmen are evil, Little Bean. If Uncle Su doesn't get married and have kids, you'll be in charge of Imperial Star. I think you'll monopolize the national market soon. Do you want to make a will or something? Just in case you regret it in the future, Little Bean said while eating French fries. Wow. How cruel. Suyu deliberately teased her. Handsome Su, you gave her Imperial Star. What about me? Pudding pouted. Pudding rarely acted like a spoiled child. But Suyu was an exception. Perhaps it was because when they were very young, Suyu had been by their side taking care of them since they were sensible. He was like a biological father to them. That was why Pudding was a little childish in front of Suyu. It wasn't intentional, but it was natural. Because of this, Mr. Chin had been jealous many times. Then, he would shout that this time, Airbao would never leave again, and would stay with him until the end. Otherwise, in the future, the child might not even be close to Suyu. Don't you have GK? Suyu smiled. That's different. GK is daddy's, and Imperial Star is yours. You gave Little Bean such a big gift, but what about me? I don't have anything. Pudding looked at Suyu pitifully. The look in her eyes almost melted Suyu's heart. Sometimes, Suyu greedily wished that the twins were his daughters. That's easy. Uncle Su has a lot of cash, jewelry, luxury goods, mansions, and my Lamborghini Sixth Element. I'll give them all to you. Really? Pudding finally smiled. Yeah. If Uncle Su really can't get married in this lifetime, and is an old bachelor, then I'll give you and your sister everything. But you two have to take care of me until I'm old. Don't let me sleep on the streets. Suyu smiled. Wrong. We won't let you sleep on the streets. We'll send you to a nursing home. Little Bean giggled. A nursing home? Suyu was speechless. A nursing home is great. Then you can flirt with the old ladies as much as you want. After Little Bean said this, Suyu and Pudding both spat out. Chapter 2895. Chin Mumu, what's in your head? Flirting with old ladies. Only you can think of such a perverted thing. Pudding accused her. I'm telling the truth. Our handsome Su is so handsome. When he gets old, he'll be the Prince Charming in old ladies' homes. Ha ha ha. After saying that, Little Bean couldn't help but laugh wildly. You can't help it, right? You. Okay. I'm not going to talk to you guys anymore. Uncle Su is going out for a drink. Don't drink too much. It's not good for your stomach. Pudding immediately reminded him. Yes, little ancestor. If you want to pick up girls, remember to find girls with big breasts. They feel good, Little Bean said. Suyu. Pudding. What's with your expressions? Am I wrong? Pudding. Chin Mumu, you're getting more and more perverted. I'm going to tell Vice Director Hua. Little Bean. Damn it. If you say that, Mommy will kill me. Pudding. Then I'll kill you. Then I'll be the only child, and won't have to worry about sharing things with others. Little Bean. You're such an evil sister. Pudding. Thank you for the compliment. Little Bean. You're welcome. But let me remind you that even if you get rid of me, you still have the baby in Mommy's belly to compete with you. You're not the only child. You're still in a precarious situation. Pudding. So? Little Bean. So why don't you team up with me? We'll deal with the baby together. Pudding. I knew you were going to do that. Suyu. You two are so scary. If anyone goes against you in the future, I'm dead meat. Pudding. You're right. Little Bean. Bro, you hurt my feelings. Suyu. Suyu. In the future, you should watch less of those nonsensical internet jokes and learn less of these useless internet slang. Pudding. Okay. But before you criticize us, you have to clean your own ass. Suyu. Why do I need to clean my ass? Suyu was dumbfounded. Little Bean. Don't lecture us, you're a bachelor. Find a wife. Grandma Su wants grandchildren. Suyu. Ahem. Let's talk about the next topic. Postpartum care for sows. The twins burst into laughter. Suyu. Alright, I won't talk nonsense with you guys anymore. I'm really going out for a drink. You two should go to bed early. Pudding. Bye, Handsome Sue. Little Bean. Be careful, Handsome Sue. Love you. Moi. From the way they said their goodbyes, it could be seen how different their personalities were. Pudding was obviously steady and wise. Little Bean was obviously a bootlicker, but she was especially good at acting cute. Late at night, in the master bedroom of South Hill Manor, Huimin, who was half asleep, suddenly woke up with a start. Then, he sweated profusely. Come back. Baby, come back. Honey, did you have a nightmare? Chin Chu hurriedly put his arm around Huimin's shoulder. Are you dreaming? Huimin was still in a daze. Chin Chu quickly reached out and turned on the bedside lamp. The warm light illuminated the entire room. Only then did Huimin wake up from the dream. Phew phew. Huimin let out a long sigh of relief. Chin Chu took out a few pieces of tissue and carefully wiped Huimin's sweat. Honey, I just had a really bad dream. Huimin was still very weak when he spoke. Don't worry. Speak slowly. Look at how scared you are. You're sweating profusely. Chin Chu was afraid that she would be scared, so he tightly held her shoulders and didn't dare to let go. Honey, I dreamed about the baby in my stomach. Huimin leaned his head on Chin Chu's shoulder and said word by word. MHM. And then? Chin Chu's voice was very soft. Chapter 2896. I dreamt that I was hugging him and being chased by bad guys. Then I kept running and running. Huimin's eyes were filled with panic as she spoke. Don't be scared, tell me slowly. He said. Mom, run, I'll protect you from behind. And then? I didn't want to leave, so he pushed me. In the end, I saw him fall off a cliff with bad guys. Huimin was still in shock. It's just a dream. It's not real. Chin Chu comforted her gently. Honey, yeah? I have a bad feeling. Lin Sanji said. What feeling? I think the baby and I might be in danger. Huimin said anxiously. Pregnant women are indeed sensitive and suspicious. You're a doctor yourself, so you know everything. You have nightmares because your brain has been under too much pressure recently, and your brain nerves are too tense. That's why you can relax in your dreams. These aren't real. You look silly. But, don't you think that Huasiqian's place is terrifyingly quiet? Huimin asked worriedly. It's not normal. Zhang Manlin said before that Huasiqian's wedding was a conspiracy. We thought that he would make a big move on the wedding day. But, it's so quiet right now. It's not normal. Yeah, it's a bit strange, but it's nothing. No matter what Huasiqian is planning, I won't let anything happen to you. I told you that I won't leave your side. Tomorrow, you can either stay at home with the baby. Our house is on high alert. Even if the military wants to break in, They won't be able to do it without at least half an hour of intense firepower. Let alone that scumbag Huasiqian. Or you can come to the company with me. As long as we don't leave each other's side, he won't have a chance to do anything. Yeah, maybe I'm thinking too much. I should trust Mr. Qin. After speaking, Huamin smiled and continued to act cute in Qin Chu's arms. After Huamin became pregnant with her second child, she had been restless. He didn't know if it was because he was thinking too much, or if he really felt that something was going to happen. She didn't sleep well. Qin Chu coaxed her for a while before she finally fell asleep. After Huamin fell asleep for a long time, Qin Chu slowly got up. He flipped over and got off the ground. Then he took out a white medicine bottle from the bottom compartment of the drawer. He took out some unknown medicine and swallowed it. Late at night, at the Hua family's mansion, boss, why haven't we done anything yet? Aching was getting anxious. There's no rush. But if we wait any longer, we will miss the best opportunity. No, you're wrong. The best time hasn't come yet. Huasiqian smiled meaningfully. I thought the boss would do it on the wedding night. I won't alert them. Qin Chu must be ready to fight at any time, so I have to let their guard down first. But we don't have much time left. Aching knew that his boss had asked Ian for an extra week. Otherwise, he would have made his move long ago. I know what I'm doing. Huasiqian was still smiling, but he didn't explain what he was going to do. Aching was also very confused, but he didn't dare to ask. 6 a.m. Seeing Huasiqian leave for work, Aching finally dared to hide in a corner. He looked around and made sure that no one was around. Then he made a call. Hello? I asked, but he didn't say much. But I think he's going to do it soon because Ian didn't give him much time. Chapter 2897. I've really tried my best, but you know that our boss is a suspicious person. Even though I'm the one he trusts the most, I won't say too much. That's all I can say. When he's planning something, I'll get in touch with you. Okay, that's all for now. After hanging up, Aching left sneakily. Qin Chu hung up and went downstairs to the living room for breakfast. No one was up except for Huamin. She fried eggs, baked bread, and made coffee for Qin Chu. Honey, did you get anything out of him? No, he said that Huasiqian hasn't said anything yet. Is Aching trustworthy? Are you sure it's not Huasiqian trying to sow discord between us? Huamin was still worried. Then she pushed a cup of hot coffee in front of Qin Chu. Thank you, honey. Qin Chu had always been a man who knew what he was doing. He never thought that Huamian should be the one doing this. Instead, he always held a grateful heart, even if it was Huamian, who he loved the most. Don't mention it. We're family. Aching is trustworthy. It's definitely not Huasiqian trying to sow discord between us. His lifeline is in my hands. Is it about the orphan that Zhang Manlin told you about last time? Huamin's heart skipped a beat. She knew that Mr. Qin didn't like using children as hostages to threaten people. It's about that child, but it's not a threat, Qin Chu explained. Before Huamin could say anything, he took a sip of coffee and continued. That child has a congenital heart disease. He's been looking for a heart transplant. Do you have one? Huamin looked at her husband. I found one overseas. Rick helped me. Speaking of Rick, I just remembered. I don't know how Cece is doing. She hasn't contacted me in a while. They might be in some trouble. Did something happen? No, it's just that we ran into some trouble. Once we're done with Huasiqian, our whole family will go to the US again. Other than visiting Rick and Cece, we'll also go and persuade second uncle to stop dragging Ningning and Tang Chuan's matter. You seem to have a good impression of Tang Chuan. What's wrong? Is it because he keeps calling you brother-in-law that your heart softens? Huamin teased him on purpose. No, I just feel that Tang Chuan is a good person. Yeah, actually among the 4 young masters, young Master Shen is not bad. But it's a pity. Thinking of Shen Mingxi who was still in the hospital, Huamin felt that it was a pity. He just fell in love with the wrong person. Everyone has their own destiny. Hua Yingyan only has herself to blame. She dug her own grave by pestering Gao Ran. Nothing good will come of it. In the end, she'll only become a laughingstock. Tian Tian is still young. I hope she won't be like her mother and live in her mother's shadow. Huamin sighed. Since Qin Chu had Ocheng on his side, he was confident that he could deal with Hua Xiqian. However, he didn't expect that this battle would be so difficult. Thousands of miles away, in a chaotic country, inside a bomb shelter, Lu Yan, dressed in a military green camouflage uniform, looked very valiant. She had been avoiding Ian's pursuit while dealing with the assassins sent by Qiao Fei's brother. At the same time, she had accepted a billion-dollar deal. She led her own mercenary group to fight against the rebels in this small country. The battle was earth-shattering. It was as if Lu Yan had been born to fight. Psycho Qiao. After this deal, let's go back to China. Do you miss Mian? Qiao Fei looked at the woman he loved and asked softly. Chapter 2898. Okay. When Lu Yan nodded, she found Qiao Fei cute. Okay, I'll go wherever you want me to go. Like Qin Chu, Qiao Fei was never a talkative man, but he was definitely a man who would be there when you needed him. Because of this, Lu Yan relied on Qiao Fei a lot. After Qiao Fei said that, Lu Yan smiled proudly. Damn it, the money is in my account. Take it all out. I'm going to research new chemical weapons. I'm going to beat Ian up until his mother can't recognize him. Lu Yan cursed. You're a kid who's being chased all over the world. You're just bragging, okay? Lu Yan. I don't have as many people as he does. If I had tens of thousands of subordinates like him, and colluded with reactionaries from all over the world, I'd be even more powerful than him. Okay, Miss Lu Yan, stop dreaming. Let's finish this battle quickly. I'm hungry, I want to eat. Then Qiao Fei walked out with a heavy machine gun. His back was so handsome. Lu Yan pursed her lips and looked at him shyly and happily. Ever since Lu Yan met Huamin, she always felt like she was tied to him. So, she was always thinking about her sister and nieces. Even her dad said that she had forgotten to contact him. She only had eyes for her sister and nieces. She had been fighting alone for too long, and craved the warmth and hugs of her family. When she was with Huamin, Lu Yan felt like she was still alive in this world, and returned to her peaceful life. Lu Yan thought that after finishing this deal, she would go back to China and reunite with her sister. However, she didn't expect that by the time she returned, everything was already too late. This deal required a lot of manpower, so Lu Yan focused all her attention on overseas. Her subordinates, who were keeping an eye on Huamin's family, relaxed. It was at this time that Hua Xiqian took advantage of the situation. Midnight at the first hospital, Su Yu and Tang Chuan walked past the first hospital after supper. Su Yu said that he wanted to see Shen Mingxi. That was because they hadn't seen each other much since he woke up. Thus, the two of them sped away in their flashy sports car. Tang Chuan was even more down to earth. He even asked Su Yu seriously, Lord Su, it's not good for us to go empty-handed, right? Do you want to buy a fruit basket? You can buy it if you want. I don't want to embarrass myself, Su Yu said as he played with his phone. What's so embarrassing about that? Don't we send flowers and fruit baskets to patients? Tang Chuan retorted, do you think someone of her status would lack fruit? Or do you think it's appropriate for two men to carry a fruit basket in the middle of the night? Su Yu asked. Tang Chuan. Well, so we're not buying anything. Tang Chuan felt that it was not good to go empty-handed. He should like Su Fuji's shrimp dumplings. We can buy some supper for him. That's a good idea. After saying that, Tang Chuan stepped on the accelerator and turned the car around, heading towards the Hong Kong tea restaurant. Then he brought back the shrimp dumplings, shredded chicken noodle soup, and pineapple buns. The two of them came to visit the patient in such a dashing manner. The bodyguards outside the ward were about to doze off. When they saw the two figures approaching, they immediately became alert. After seeing who it was, they heaved a sigh of relief. Lord Su, Master Tang. Is your young master asleep? Su Yu asked. Not yet. Young master hasn't been sleeping well recently. He sleeps very late every day. Okay, let's go in and take a look. After saying that, Su Yu pushed the door open and entered without knocking. Shen Mingxi turned around and was surprised to see the two of them. Why are you two here? He showed a rare smile. Chapter 2899. I haven't come to see you since you woke up. Tang Chuan was telling the truth. Su Yu, on the other hand, casually placed the bags on the table. I brought you shrimp dumplings and pineapple buns from Su Fuji. Have some if you're hungry. You know me well, and remember my favorite things. Shen Mingxi chuckled. Other than your poor taste in women, there's nothing wrong with you, Su Yu said directly. Haha. Young Master Shen is heartbroken by your words. Lord Su, you're telling the truth. Tang Chuan gloated. Shen Mingxi lowered his head in embarrassment. Then he picked up the supper Su Yu brought and ate slowly. I heard Wei Ying comes to see you every day. Su Yu gossiped. Ahem. Shen Mingxi almost choked. What's going on between you two? Are you getting back together? No. I think he has changed a lot. We're more like friends who've been friends for years, Shen Mingxi said. That's good. I was just saying that Wei Liao wouldn't agree to you guys getting back together. You know his temper. You guys fought so fiercely back then. And now you're like this. Su Yu commented. Shen Mingxi didn't say anything, but a hint of disappointment flashed across his eyes. I told you it's impossible. Lord Su, you didn't believe me. Wei Ying has a boyfriend. Tang Chuan hopped onto Shen Mingxi's table, picked up an apple, and took a bite out of it as he spoke casually. She has a boyfriend? Don't bullshit me. How come I don't know about it? Su Yu scolded Tang Chuan. You only have eyes for my sister-in-law and my nieces. Why would you care about gossip? Tang Chuan mocked him on purpose. Scram. A few days ago, when I was hanging out with Sun Kai and the others, I accidentally heard about the young master of the Yi group. What's his name again? Oh right, Yi Zhaoyang. He seems to be chasing after Wei Ying. I've seen him twice. He's handsome and smart, different from his scumbag brothers. If he can win Wei Ying's heart, he can marry into the Wei family and become the president of the Yi group. As Tang Chuan talked, Su Yu and Shen Mingxi listened quietly. I don't think so. Old Wei said that when Wei Ying gets married in the future, she'll marry a commoner. She won't get married to a business partner. The Wei family isn't short of money, Su Yu refuted. It's hard to say. Maybe they have feelings for each other. Didn't Wei Ying talk about her relationship with Yi Zhaoyang? Tang Chuan asked. Shen Mingxi shook his head. Oh, she's probably too shy to talk about it. Where did you hear that? Is it reliable? Su Yu looked at Tang Chuan in disbelief. It's definitely reliable. I heard that Wei Ying is going to participate in wilderness survival training in a few days. Yi Zhaoyang is going as well. He's going all out to pursue Wei Ying. As a single man and woman, if they go out into the wilderness, they'll be together. Ha ha ha. What's done can't be undone. Tang Chuan laughed. Su Yu didn't find it strange, but Shen Mingxi lowered his head to eat. His mood was a mess. But Wei Ying has changed a lot in the past few years. I thought she'd be demonized after the divorce, Su Yu commented. No, she was demonized before. Haha. After being provoked by Mr. Shen, she turned from a good girl to a good girl, Tang Chuan joked. But Shen Mingxi didn't say a word. His expression was unnatural. Mr. Shen, you've been in the hospital for so long. Didn't your beloved Hui Yinyan come to see you? Tang Chuan asked deliberately. Chapter 2900. Master Tang. I'm already in such a miserable state. Can you stop teasing me? I'm not teasing you. I'm serious. You love her so much. Even if she broke up with you, she should have come to see you, right? Ha, she did come. Shen Mingxi still had lingering fears when he recalled the night Hui Yinyan came. That woman's words were like a knife, piercing his heart with every word. They could break one's heart. Then did she apologize to you? Did she kneel down or something? After all, you're her sugar daddy, Tang Chuan asked. No, she just became worse. I think we can't go back to how we were before. But I still don't want to fight. I think that when a relationship comes to a dead end, it's just strangers who don't disturb each other. There's no need to fight to the death. There's really no need to fight to the death. You're right. I don't think there's any need to fall out with my woman. After all, we used to be so close. I agree with you on this point. You're like a man. Su Yu gave him a thumbs up. Alright, stop teasing me. Shen Mingxi didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Then you don't have to care about Hui Yinyan anymore. I've noticed that she's been walking further and further down the road of death recently. Tang Chuan sighed. Did she do something outrageous again? Shen Mingxi was stunned. She's not just outrageous. She's sick. Then, Tang Chuan told him about how Hui Yinyan had caused a scene at the entrance of the Municipal Public Security Bureau. He also told him how she framed Gao Ran, and how she had slandered him in front of the media. Tang Chuan's description was very vivid. Shen Mingxi frowned slightly. Hey brother Shen, tell me the truth. Is Hui Yinyan mentally ill? Tang Chuan asked seriously. Shen Mingxi was speechless. It's really not. She's not like that. I think our relationship changed after her mother came back. Shen Mingxi analyzed carefully. Su Yu immediately chimed in. Yeah, I heard from Mian that Hui Yinyan and Hui Si were greatly influenced by their mother. Their values and ways of life were instilled by their mother since they were young. This isn't exactly the standard, is it? I think Sister Mian's mother is just a commoner who doesn't know anything. But why is Sister Mian so powerful? Tang Chuan was puzzled. Your Sister Mian is a 1-in-a-million genius. She's not on our level. Su Yu smiled. Humph, look at how excited you are when you praise my Sister Mian. You sound so proud as if she's your wife. Tang Chuan teased Su Yu on purpose. Don't fucking spout nonsense. Don't make this kind of joke again. Su Yu still paid attention to these things, even though he knew that Tang Chuan was just saying it casually, and it was not a big deal. However, he still didn't want to drag Mian, who was already married and pregnant, into this. He didn't want to affect her negatively. Shen Mingxi looked at Su Yu enviously. I'm so envious of you, Lord Su. Why would you be envious of me? I'm still single. I'm envious of the woman you like. She's worth liking. Shen Mingxi smiled bitterly. Hey, don't think too much about it. You're just a bad judge of character. If you find out in the future, stay away from Hui Yinyan. That woman is indeed a mad dog who bites anyone she catches. I have a feeling that she's about to reach the end of her life. Really, I'm not cursing her. I just think that she won't have a good ending if she does this, Su Yu said frankly. Shen Mingxi frowned slightly, his mind heavy. Even if he didn't love Hui Yinyan, he definitely didn't hate her. So if something happened to Hui Yinyan, he would still be sad. This was an undeniable fact. Midnight, in a remote suburb, Hui Yinyan parked her car on the side of the road. Where's the thing I want? Did you bring it? Hui Yinyan asked a man whose face she couldn't see clearly. Chapter 2901. Yes. Give it to me. Where's the money? Did you bring it? The man asked in a low voice. It's all here. Check it. Hui Yinyan tossed a canvas bag to the man who caught it. He opened it and shone a flashlight on the bag to feel the texture of the money. After confirming that it was real, the man handed a black jar to Hui Yinyan. This thing is very powerful. You better be careful. I know, Hui Yinyan said. You better not open it. Don't deny it out of curiosity. You'll regret it. Stop nagging. Take your people and hand over the goods. Hui Yinyan was impatient. Seeing that Hui Yinyan didn't know what was good for her, the man didn't say anything more. He took the money and left. Hui Yinyan got into the car with the black jar and drove home. When she got home, Tian was still awake. Mommy, you're back? The child ran over and hugged Hui Yinyan's leg. She answered impatiently. Mommy, what's this? The little girl was curious about the black jar in her mommy's hand. Just as she was about to touch it, Hui Yinyan slapped her hand. The child's hand turned red from the slap. Don't touch it. Mommy, why are you yelling at me? You can't touch this thing, okay? Okay, Mommy. Seeing the pitiful look on the child's face, Hui Yinyan's heart softened. She put the black jar aside, squatted down and hugged Tian. Baby, Mommy is doing one last thing. When I'm done, we'll leave this place, okay? Why do we have to leave this place? Isn't it great here? There's kindergarten, my good friends, and Uncle Shun. This place can't hold us anymore. You and Mommy have to leave this place this time. After we avenge Grandma, we'll leave and never come back. Mommy, what's revenge? Tian asked innocently. Mommy will tell you about it later. After comforting her daughter, Hui Yinyan went upstairs to pack her luggage. She had already booked a flight to S-City, where Hui Yinyan had already arranged a house through an intermediary. Once she was done with this matter, she would leave with her daughter. She would entrust her daughter to help her sell the house and car. She exchanged the items in her hands for a large amount of cash and planned to move to S City with her daughter. At the very least, he would have to live there for a few years, because she knew that after this incident, Qin Chu would probably chase her to the ends of the earth to kill her. When she was packing, she accidentally found one of Shun Mingxi's ties. It was his favorite. She had saved up for a long time to buy it for him. It had a different meaning. Unfortunately, he even left his tie behind. Hu Yinyan stared at the necktie in a daze for a long time. Then, she carefully put the necktie away and put it in the suitcase. Perhaps there was only one last memory left between her and Shun Mingxi. After she finished packing, Hu Yinyan coaxed her daughter to sleep. At 4:30 a.m., she got up in the dark and went to the back door of Southside Recuperation Center. She handed over the brown paper containing the money. "Here's 50,000 yuan, Hu Yinyan said. The man didn't say anything. "I don't care how you do it, but put this in Huomin's office," Hu Yinyan ordered. "The vice director is on vacation. She hasn't been here for a long time." The man's voice sounded old. "I have a way to make her come back today. Just put it there." After hesitating for a moment, the man slowly reached out his hand and took the heavy 50,000 yuan. Chapter 2902. Seeing the man take the money, Hu Yinyan smiled proudly. The truth was, she never thought that she and Huomin would get to this point. She used to think that she could be friends with Huomin, just like everyone else. The so-called everyone else was Zhu Lingling, Jiang Xiaowei, and the others. However, this time, her mother's death was definitely Qin Chu's doing. Whether it was Qin Chu or Su Yu, they were definitely related to Huomin. The most painful thing for those two men was to lose Huomin forever. Even someone like Hu Yinyan could see the truth. It was obvious how much the two men loved Huomin. At South Hill Manor, Huomin listened to Qin Chu and chose to stay at home or go to the hospital. Huomin chose to stay at home because he could spend time with his daughters. It was rare for him to have some free time. During the day, he made some handmade cookies and chocolate for the children. At night, he accompanied the children to watch cartoons and some parent-child programs. He also gave them prenatal education. His life was very comfortable. When Jixin sent Huomian a WeChat message, he teased his sister that she was finally living the life of a young madam after marrying into a rich family for so many years. Huomin also burst out laughing. "Don't be ridiculous." "Okay, I'll take the children to dinner tomorrow. Can you ask Mom to make us some pancakes and tomato and cucumber soup?" Huomin laughed. "No problem, sis. If you want dinosaur meat, Mom will find a way to make it," Jixin continued joking. "You look like a dinosaur to me." "Okay, I'll hang up now. Dinner is almost ready." Huomin hung up. However, the hospital immediately called. It was the number of the reception desk. "Hello, I'm Huomin. Vice Director, this is the case. Our hospital just received a patient with a heart attack. It's very serious and he needs surgery. The doctor on duty in the cardiology department thinks that the surgery is too difficult. So he asked us to ask you for instructions. What should we do? Call the first hospital and ask for help," Huomin suggested. But the first hospital also has a patient who needs heart bypass surgery. And the doctor is in the middle of the surgery. He can't leave. The young nurse was very anxious. What about Dr. Zhao from the cardiology department? Wasn't her house not far from the hospital? Call her and tell her that I want her to work overtime. Yes, I did. Dr. Zhao is on vacation with his wife and children in Hong Kong. Huomian didn't know what to say. Why don't you discuss it with President Wu and make a decision quickly? After all, time waits for no one. The patient is seriously ill. The nurse urged. There's no need to discuss it. President Wu is in a meeting in Jing City and is very busy every day. We don't need to trouble him with such a small matter. How about this? You guys hurry up and prepare for the surgery. I'll pack up and come over immediately. Wow, Vice Director, you're coming. That's great. Okay. Wait for me. I'll put the files in your office drawer. You can take a look at them when you arrive, and then meet us in R3. Okay. Huamin nodded and hung up. Then, she picked up her coat and stood up. Mommy, where are you going? It's almost dinner time. Daddy called and said he's on his way back. Little Bean said. There's a situation in the hospital. I have to go back and take care of it. But Mommy, aren't you on vacation? Besides, Mommy is a leader of the hospital, not a frontline doctor. You don't have to work so hard. Little Bean pouted, obviously not wanting her mommy to leave. Little Bean, Mommy is the vice director, but... Huamin paused. Chapter 2903. Plus Mommy's a doctor. A doctor's mission is to save lives. But Mommy's also pregnant. I don't know if it's a brother or sister in her belly. Pudding interrupted. Sis, you're finally willing to help me. Seeing her sister speak up for her, Pudding immediately became smug. Don't be like this. You have to understand Mommy's job, okay? Huamin tried to negotiate with the twins. But Daddy said that when Mommy is on vacation, she must either stay close to Daddy or stay at home with us. Pudding lectured her mommy. I know. Huamin was helpless. So, Mommy, are you going to take Daddy to the hospital, or are you going to take us and the bodyguards? I'll take the bodyguards. Don't worry. You guys can wait at home. It seems like it's raining outside. It's pretty cold. How long will it take? Pudding pouted, reluctant to leave. It won't take long. Huamin comforted them. Liar. Heart surgery takes at least 3 hours. Pudding exposed her mommy's white lie. It wasn't a good thing to have smart babies at home. They weren't easy to fool. Mommy, why don't you go? There are so many doctors in the hospital. Maybe they're not good enough. It's not your fault. But lately it's been so quiet outside. That bitch Zhang Manlin hasn't done anything. I don't know what she's thinking. And that crazy woman Hui Yanyan. After she framed Uncle Gao Ran, I don't know if she'll target us. So, I think it's better for you to stay out of trouble. Pudding said word by word. Her logic was clear, and her words were precise. Pudding, Mommy understands what you're saying, but Mommy doesn't want to miss any chance to save someone. Mommy isn't a saint or God, but Mommy is a doctor. It's a doctor's duty to save people. If I save them and they die, it's still acceptable. But if I don't save them and they die because of me, I'll be very sad. The family members of the deceased will also be very sad. The cruelest thing in this world is the separation of life and death. The saddest thing is the living and the abandoned. So, I hope that as long as there's a glimmer of hope, I'll do my best to help the patients I treat. This was the first monologue in my heart when I first stepped into medical school. When Huamin said these words, her eyes were bright. It was as if she had returned to her teenage years, with a heart surging with passion, and a dream that seemed silly to others. Everyone thought that doctors were supposed to save people's lives. It was their job and they were paid to do it. Now the media was constantly trying to sow discord between patients. It made doctors seem like they had lost a lot of their former glory. However, this didn't affect the young people with medical dreams. They continued to work hard for their careers. Even as the vice director of the hospital, Huamian still felt that she had the responsibility to save every life that was of value. Mommy, okay, you win. You have such a high EQ and eloquence. We can only surrender. Huamin's most honest words convinced her daughters. In the end, Pudding also surrendered. Watching Huamin leave with the bodyguards, Pudding was still a little uneasy. Sis, what's wrong? You look like you have something on your mind. Little Bean asked. I feel like Mommy shouldn't have gone out tonight. Little Bean said with lingering fear. Yes, she didn't ask Daddy for permission to go out. I also think it's very serious, Little Bean added. Chapter 2904. Huamin, who was pregnant, rarely left the house. This time, she brought along 2 bodyguards personally selected by Qin Chu just in case. The driver drove the RV while Huamin and the bodyguard sat in the back. Along the way, she was thinking about a problem. Pudding was right. It was really risky for him to come out. Pudding was right. Not only was Zhang Manlin coming up with all sorts of evil ideas, but Hui Yingyan had also been crazy recently. She was always doing crazy things. Plus, Hua Xiqian's wedding was over, but there was still no news. All signs pointed to the fact that she was in danger. Coming out after dark wasn't a wise choice. But she was a doctor. If she hid at home like a coward for the rest of her life because of fear, would she still be the same Huimin? Would she still be the girl who was called arrogant by all her classmates when she was in high school? People didn't live for others. They lived for themselves. She knew that if this was exposed by the media, there would be a lot of self-proclaimed righteous people who would call her a saint and a white lotus. But it didn't matter. After all, not everyone was like her and had her own way of thinking. There was a saying that was very true. If you could be understood and supported by everyone, then you would be an ordinary person. After all, in this world, geniuses were few and far between. Most people were just ordinary people. The fact that you wanted ordinary people to understand geniuses was a joke in itself. Thinking of this, Huimin smiled. Then, she picked up a bottle of mineral water and took a sip. In fact, Huimin's existence itself was the biggest controversy. But after all these years, she had always held on to him. Whether you like me or not, it doesn't change anything. I'm a doctor, not an entertainment star. I don't need millions of fans. I don't need people to praise me. I don't need people to praise me all the time. My lifelong wish is to be a qualified doctor, and then live a safe and happy life with my husband and daughter. However, she was worried that Qin Chu would miss her when he came back and found out that she had gone out. At that thought, Huimin took out his phone and called Mr. Qin. Hubby. Honey, what's wrong? There's a patient in the hospital who needs heart surgery. The difficulty of the surgery is a little complicated. I have to go there. Where are you now? Qin Chu asked in a low voice. He's on his way. Qin Chu didn't say anything. Hubby, don't be angry. I brought bodyguards out, and I didn't drive my own car. The driver drove. Wait for me at the entrance of the viaduct. I'll drive over to find you. Qin Chu said. Honey, I won't stop you from performing the surgery. I just want to be with you. Qin Chu knew Huimin's temper very well. If he took Huimin home because he was worried and the patient died, Huimin would be sad for a long time. People who studied medicine understood that feeling very well. Qin Chu studied medicine at Harvard for many years. Although he wasn't a doctor, he understood Huimin's heart better than anyone else. Upon hearing Qin Chu's words, Huimin was very happy. Thank you, hubby. I love you. With her husband's support, Huimin felt much better. She didn't feel any pressure at all. Stop at the entrance of the viaduct and wait for my husband, Huimin ordered the driver. Yes, madam. The driver obediently parked the car on the side of the road and waited for Qin Chu to meet up with him. However, 10 minutes passed, and Qin Chu's car was still nowhere to be seen. Huimin called again. Hubby, how long until you get here? The situation at the hospital is a little urgent, Huimin asked. There's a situation here, Qin Chu answered with mixed feelings. Chapter 2905. What's going on? Honey, are you okay? Huimin was scared to death, thinking that something had happened to Qin Chu. No, honey, listen to me carefully. Qin Chu's tone suddenly became very heavy. Go on, I'm listening. I'm stuck in traffic really bad. I don't know if it's a coincidence, or if someone did it on purpose. You haven't been out for so long, and you suddenly received a call from the hospital today. Could it be a trap? Huimin was silent after hearing this. Honey, did you hear that? Qin Chu repeated. I heard it. Actually, I've thought about it. Could it be someone's trick? Whether it's Hui Xiqian, Hui Yinyan, or Zhang Manlin. But if I don't come because I'm afraid it's a trap, and the patient dies because of it, I'll feel bad. Qin Chu was silent. Hubby, do you also think that I'm a saint? No, I've never thought of you that way. That's good. As long as you don't think I'm pretending to be a good guy, I don't care what other people think of me. I might not be able to go over for now, and you're in a hurry. How about this, Mian? Promise me that you'll be careful. Take care of yourself and the baby in your belly. Okay, I'll be very, very careful. Huimin nodded, feeling a surge of warmth in his heart. Mr. Qin didn't argue with her at a time like this, and asked her to go home. It was obvious that he knew her very well. After hanging up, Qin Chu looked at the traffic jam in front of him. He immediately opened the car door and got out. Just then, he saw a traffic policeman on a motorcycle pass by. He reached out his hand and stopped him. "Can I borrow your motorcycle? I'm Chin Chu." Then, without waiting for the traffic policeman to respond, Chin Chu got on the motorcycle and sped away, weaving through the traffic. The traffic policeman looked at the black Bentley that Chin Chu left behind, dumbfounded, speechless for a long time. Southside Recuperation Center. When Huomin walked in, he didn't go straight to his office. He was in a hurry to read the documents and change his clothes. Instead, he went straight to the reception desk and asked about the condition of the heart patient. After confirming that it was true, she was slightly relieved. "Where is the patient now?" "In the operating theater on the 5th floor. Everyone is waiting for you, Deputy Director." "Who called me just now?" Huomin asked the nurses on duty. "It's me, Deputy Director." A young nurse raised her hand. "That's normal. You shouldn't be the one to call me." "Who told you to call me?" Huomian asked her warily. Assistant Chen Jie usually calls you, but she's off today and didn't come. This is an emergency, and no one can make a decision, so I was wondering if I should ask for your opinion." Huomin carefully analyzed the nurse's words to see if there were any loopholes. "Do you still have the information?" "In your office," the nurse replied. "Do you have a backup?" Huomin asked. Yes, there are more in the operating theater," the nurse replied. "Good. Then I'll go straight to the operating theater." Then, Huomin put on his white coat and walked upstairs. The nurse's eyes dimmed slightly. She muttered, "She's so smart and so defensive." Yes, the perfect plan was just short of asking Huomin to go back to his office, but she didn't. Instead, she changed her clothes and went straight to the operating theater where there were many people. Therefore, the nurse panicked and sent a WeChat message to Hu Yanyan. "Sis, there's a change of plans." She's so smart. She didn't go back to the office to get the information and went straight to the operating theater. What should we do? Chapter 2906. That's normal. How could she not be wary of someone like her? It's okay, Hu Yanyan replied. Should we do it in the OR? There are a lot of people there. It's not convenient. You know there's only one of those things. If we don't succeed the first time, all our efforts will be in vain, the young nurse said. Of course not. Can't you grow a brain? Think about what she does after she leaves the OR. Hu Yingyan was a little annoyed. After she leaves the OR, she usually changes clothes, rests, and drinks water. The young nurse tried hard to remember. That's easy. We'll put the thing in her clothes before she changes clothes. The young nurse hesitated. What are you waiting for? Go and do it. Okay, sis. Is it really okay? Vice Director's husband is very powerful. I'm afraid. The young nurse stuttered. You're just a temporary worker. What are you afraid of? Once you're done, you'll leave. Anyway, your ID is fake. Who can find you? Hu Yanyan retorted. Hu Yanyan had spent a lot of money on this revenge operation. First, she spent a lot of money on that thing. Then she hired people in the hospital to bribe them. Most importantly, in order to lure Huomin into the trap, she really found a heart patient who needed surgery. Otherwise, if the information was fake, she would be exposed easily. As soon as Huomin entered the hospital, she went around to check if there was really such a patient. It was obvious that she was very vigilant. Okay, sis. I know what to do. Inside the OR on the 5th floor. Once Huomin entered, everyone let out a sigh of relief. Vice Director. Mr. Director, you're finally here. What's the situation now? Huomin asked. The patient's heartbeat is very fast, and he's having difficulty breathing. I don't think he can hold on much longer. Where's the information? Let me see. Huomin reached out his hand. An assistant immediately handed over the information and showed Huomin the patient's medical record. She was very serious and finished reading very quickly. How is it, Deputy Director? Are you confident? The chief surgeon asked. There is indeed a risk. This patient has undergone heart surgery before, so this is considered a second surgery. It is indeed very difficult. Then what should we do? Do we do it or not? Of course we'll do it. Tell the family that we'll do our best. Tell them not to worry, Huamin said. All right. Huamin was a doctor who paid close attention to the feelings of the family members of seriously ill patients. When Jixin was in a car accident, she stood outside the door, as if she had lost her soul. She couldn't wait to see the doctor and ask him if he was alive or dead. Therefore, after becoming a doctor, no matter how bad the situation was, she would always consider the emotions of the family members and comfort them. I'll change now. Let's get started. All right. After that, Huamin changed into a disinfectant suit and entered the operating theater. A few assistants followed him in. Hua Yinyan's nurse took advantage of the fact that no one was paying attention to her. She avoided the surveillance cameras and stole the small black jar from Huamin's office. Then, she carried it all the way to the changing room next to the operating theater. There was only one nurse guarding the changing room. That nurse was playing with her phone and texting her boyfriend on WeChat. I'm here to see the deputy director, Hua Yinyan's subordinate said. The deputy director is already in the operating theater. You can wait for her to finish, the nurse said perfunctorily. Then I'll wait for her here. Oh right, if you want to drink water or go to the bathroom, you can go. I'll watch over you for a while. Okay. I was just about to go to the bathroom. You can keep an eye on me. If there's anything I need, let me know. With that, the nurse got up and left. Hua Yinyan's subordinate quietly opened the black jar. Then, wearing a pair of rubber gloves, she put something into Huamin's jacket pocket. I'm sorry, Deputy Director. Someone wants you dead. I can't do anything about it, the nurse muttered in a low voice. Chapter 2907. Perhaps the nurse was scared, so she left without waiting for the other nurse to come back. She left in a hurry. Huamin was wearing a black cashmere coat. It was windy at night and she was pregnant, so she often felt cold. That was why she wore this coat. There were 2 deep pockets on both sides of the coat. Huamin would put small items like keys in the pockets when she forgot to take her bag. She just didn't expect that it could be used by others. After the nurse was done, she sent Hua Yinyan a WeChat message. Sis, it's done. It's in her pocket. When she comes out of the surgery, she'll change her clothes. When she feels her body temperature, she'll do something. Okay, I got it. Sis, the rest of the money. Hua Yinyan didn't reply. Instead, she transferred 30,000 yuan to the nurse. Thank you, sis. After the nurse received the money, she immediately changed her clothes and left the hospital. She knew that she would be suspected after news of Huamin's accident spread. On the other hand, Hua Yinyan went upstairs to get her luggage after receiving the news. Tian, let's go. She grabbed her daughter's hand. Mommy, it's dark. Where are we going? Mommy will take you on a trip. Shouldn't we tell Uncle Shen? He'll be worried about us, right? The little girl asked innocently. Hearing the words Uncle Shen, Hua Yinyan paused and said, No need to tell him. He won't worry about us. At the same time, inside the Hua mansion, Ching, did you see it clearly? Yes. Do you know what to do? Yes. I'll go and get her. Okay. Go. What about the hospital? If Miss Hua comes out and gets bitten by that thing. Ching stuttered. Don't worry. I'll send someone to take care of it. You just do your job. Okay, boss. After Ching received Hua Xiqian's order, he took people to the airport. Because there were people around him, he didn't have time to inform Qin Chu. Ching sent an anonymous message to Qin Chu with an app. Quick, save Huamin. There's poison in his clothes. When Qin Chu received the news, he happened to be riding a traffic police motorcycle all the way to South Side. After reading the message, his face darkened slightly. Then, he rushed to the operating theater on the 5th floor without hesitation. Just as he passed through the operating theater in the corridor, he was opposite a hospital worker, tall and burly and male. She was wearing the uniform of Southside Recuperation Center and was carrying a bag in her hand. After walking over, Qin Chu didn't forget to look back at that person. Somehow, he felt that something was off. When they arrived at the waiting room outside the operating theater, Qin Chu knocked on the door. The young nurse immediately stood up. I'm looking for Huamin. I'm her husband. Qin Chu only said one sentence, and the nurse's eyes immediately lit up. President Qin, You're here to welcome our vice president personally. Where is she? In the operating theater. Where's her coat? Coat? Oh, it's hanging here. The young nurse pointed at the closet enthusiastically. Chin-Chu walked over, picked up the medical tweezers beside it, and carefully checked it. Only then did he realize that there was nothing inside. Then he put on rubber gloves and picked up the coat. President Chin, what are you? The young nurse didn't seem to understand. My wife's coat is torn. I'm changing it for her. After speaking, Chin-Chu used his gloved hands to take Huamin's designer coat to the washroom. He lit it with a lighter and burned it. No matter what, this coat couldn't be worn anymore. He knew that Aching's information couldn't be wrong. What he didn't understand was why Hua Xiqian suddenly did this to Huamian. You're tuning in to the Dreamy Chapters YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support. And don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.